Hey, buddy. That was frustrating as hell to start this slightly pissed off at computer problems. But there we go. Oh. Hey guys, how we doing? That sucked for anybody that needed to know. My computer decided to rebel, and we'll see how this goes. I've never done this on any of my own stuff, so but it's working now. Just coordinating with Riley here. He's gonna be coming in via phone, and that looks horrible. So this is going to be ultra awesome. How you guys doing? Oh man. If anybody was wondering, drum edits took longer than we thought, so we actually haven't even started on guitars yet. But, however, sorry. But we start guitars tomorrow, and we didn't actually finish our chat last time, so we thought we'll go ahead and keep it. So, since I have 11 people viewing, hello, 11 people. The questions are nigh. Hey, buddy.
Oh, hi, buddy. Oh.
This is going poorly already. Greg Riley. Riley Greg. We're up to 13 viewers. It's back down to 11. That's how well this is going. How long till we finish recording? It's gonna be a while. This is silly. But yeah, about a month till we finish. All right, here we go. Let's start this off right. How many objects can you fit in your butts? Riley?
Oh, it depends on the size of the object. Are we talking like marbles or watermelons? Because volume is important.
There you go. Yeah, until you give a follow up, Jesse, that's all you're getting. If you could go on tour with any 3 bands, who would you choose?
Oh man, the Bearman is like one of my favorite bands ever. That is like still active and touring and stuff. Are we talking like realistically, or just like any bands throughout history?
I'm gonna say any bands throughout history because he didn't specify. Sorry, Chris.
Okay. Well, shit. I guess we're keeping it close, close to the chest, and playing some stuff with other metal bands that are like us. Fucking, I don't know. I love Rhapsody. they like had a sick live setup that could like match their studio setup, I would want to tour with them and just watch that shit every night. That'd be so cool.
Rhapsody of Fire.
Yeah.
Do you,
Oh, yeah.
I think that's completely BS how they had to change the name.
I completely agree. But it's funny because then I think there's also like Luca to release Rhapsody as well, and I'm just like, what?
That's messed up. Any three bands, there's that Sick, Slayer, Testament, Carcass tour going on right now. That sounds like awesome for me. I'm gonna say that because that's easy. Okay, I'm gonna start going through this. This one's a good one. Our buddy from Greece. Hey Riley, good job with Continuum, man.
Thanks, man.
I'm giving you a thumbs up for the guy on the phone because the picture's so horrible they can't see you. They can't see you thumbing up. Okay. Death Metal Mikey recommended that you really want it regarding clean vocals. I heard you mention that there were bonus tracks with clean vocals. Elaborate, please. Well, you know what? He's the guy doing it, so maybe I'll just let him elaborate and I'll shut the hell up.
Well,
this is lame. Sorry, everyone. let my phone do this hangout.
I can't really talk about what tracks we are doing, unfortunately, because that's all part of the game. Got to kind of wait and see which ones we're gonna cover, but they are songs that feature almost exclusively like stylistically. I'm gonna do it more so in my style of vocals, a little bit more like operatic, power metal kind of shit coming on, as opposed to the style of person originally sings. So that would be something. It's still gonna be really powerful and really metal, all that fun stuff, but it's definitely gonna be most.
Yeah. So when Mikey said that I really want it, I'm a huge fan of clean vocals. Like coming from a prog background, and I think there's nothing more awesome than clean vocals over blast beats. Like that is a thing for me. Yeah, you're not going to get a lot of clean vocals on this record, to be honest. Yeah.
But we'll see how things go.
Yeah.
A little gun shy. The last time I put clean vocals on record, it was very hit or miss for a lot of people. So I don't want to do that again, joining a band, and then all of a sudden just like putting a whole different vocal style on top of everything. I want to kind of keep things consistent. For the sake of the people that are still a little bit, trepidatious about the whole member change.
So I hope that answers your question there, Dale. Okay. Give two really small hints about the bonus cover tracks. One of the bands we're covering is from Canada.
yeah, that is true.
And you've heard of this band before. That's about as small as I'm going to do.
Yes.
Okay.
You will definitely recognize the band when you hear the song.
What three modern death metal bands would you guys tour with?
Three modern death metal bands?
See, here's the thing, because it's not who would we like to, but who would be willing to tour with us.
Yeah, right. If I could just have my pick of the litter, and just be like three awesome modern death metal bands that are out, doing cool things right now that I'd love to tour with. Obscura, for sure, is at the top of that list. I'm so fucking pumped on their new album. Cattle Decapitation, for sure. I toured with them in 2010 with my other band, Son of Aurelius, and it was such a blast. They're fucking such cool guys. I'd love to fucking share some road space with those guys again. And fucking Cannibal Corpse, man. I mean, I guess they're not modern, they're kind of godfathers, but they're still actively doing shit. If I had to swap out Cannibal Corpse for someone else, I'd definitely say someone like fucking You know, like Flesh God is also doing really sick stuff right now that I'm pretty stoked on.
Yeah, Mikey or no, Brandon went to their show on Wednesday. I can't afford to go because I'm making a record for you people. But
I've heard really good things about their tour cycle that's going on right now. Those guys just shred it live. I played with them once in Detroit, and it was just like fucking crazy. It was they are so tight and so fast and like just fucking really really good band. I imagine they've only gotten better over the past several years.
Yeah, I'm gonna do pretty new bands just for the sake of doing it. I'll say Black Crown, Initiate.
Oh yeah.
Rivers of Nile, because I love those guys. Modern Death Metal. You know what? I'll say Abiotic too, because I don't know. All these dudes close to my heart. Okay. I'm just gonna skip around because I think people have put questions in here that I haven't gotten to. When will you be able to tour in Florida? As soon as we know, you will know. We don't know yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Right now, we're just working on the record. We have no other.
And beyond that, we don't really pick where we tour. You know what I mean? That's kind of up to God.
Yeah.
It's our booking agent. You know.
Yeah,
Sends us places.
We really have to make up a Tampa date because last time we were in Tampa, they didn't get a really good show. But okay, how many objects can you fit up your butt, Riley, if they're gumball sized?
Gumball sized?
Yeah.
Oh, based off of like.
Roll the dice.
Based off of like the general, based off of how like malleable butthole tissue is. I'd say that, with experiencing mild to extreme discomfort, you could probably fit like 30 or 40 gumballs up someone's ass.
There you have it, folks. That's the real reason he's in the band now, because he is good at answering those questions. Have you guys run into any issues getting a re-invite to work with other bands after you guys pretty much make them look like a bunch of 5-year-olds, especially special ed, playing recorders on stage imperatively? No.
No. I don't think we've ever. I mean, I have only done one tour with the guys, so I can't really say much. But I don't think we've ever felt that way about any of the bands we've played with.
We've not been welcome on some tours because we were not death metal enough. We'll say that.
Yeah. That might all change with this next record.
Come back to Pomona, Calo, yo. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That was a great show.
That was a super fucking fun show. It was a great way to end the tour.
What's the longest running track on the upcoming album? I don't know. Like see, that's a tricky question. If you put the whole sonata together, you're looking at 20 plus minutes.
Yeah.
If you're just talking about the individual songs,
6 or 7 minutes, I'd say it's probably like the longest one, somewhere in between there.
I think it's 8 minutes.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, the middle movement. So.
Oh yeah, you're right. That song is super fucking long.
Yeah. They don't feel long. They just are long.
No, they don't feel long. They've got lots of fun changes, different dynamic peaks.
Yay!
Race by.
So you guys on the last tour with Act Defiance for the first time, and it was very impressed by your guitar technique. What kind of practice regimen do you have? Hey, it's funny. Look at this. It's right here. This is my life. I'll give you a little taste. Pretty annoying. But it's that. A lot of that. It's actually cool. I found this online metronome thing that I can hook to my social media. So if I'm feeling really cheeky, I can show how everybody how much I'm actually practicing a day versus how much I'm not practicing a day. I don't do that because I feel that I will just get in trouble by a lot of my students. Oh, here you go. Any new plans with Son of Aurelius? Even I want to know this.
No. Currently, we are not on hiatus, but we are inactive. We don't practice as a group, and I personally haven't heard from half the members of that band in like 6 months-ish. You know what I mean? If not longer. And it's not that we don't get along or anything like that. It's nothing dramatic. We just all have, you know, busy schedules, and we're working on different projects.
Kids and people are getting married, and some.
Yeah, you know, our bass player had a kid, and our guitar player is getting married. Exactly. So we're all just kind of taking some time off to do a little bit of adulting. But you know, I wouldn't. We've never decided to be like, yeah, we've broken up kind of thing, because if Carrie decides to you know, approach me and be like, hey man, I wrote another album and do vocals for it, you know, I'm obviously super fucking on board. But the chances of that happening anytime soon are fucking slim.
Yeah, which just bums me out, because that's like one of my favorite bands ever. So
I know.
I agree 1,000% that Black Crown Initiate and you guys would be a wonderful idea. And everything going as well so far, and I love you all. Rusty Holloway in the house. I love you.
Rusty's the fucking man.
He is the man.
Yeah, I totally agree. That would be super cool.
We're already talking.
Yeah. I don't know any of them personally, but I have recently become Facebook acquainted with Mr. It's gonna have seems like super bad.
I myself have talked to Andy at length about a tour, so we've talked about it, and it's going to happen. And I think we're taking Byzantine too.
Nice.
A Legion, Black Crown, and Byzantine tour. Hopefully that will be sometime. It will be sometime this year. Hopefully that's my plan. So, let's see here. Riley, what is your favorite? What is your favorite Allegiant record so far? Sorry for ignoring you, Greg. I just think Riley is a great fit and a good Ezra replacement. I'm excited. I agree with this.
Well, thank you. My favorite Allegiant album thus far. You know, the way I feel about Allegiant, I mean, before I joined as like an outsider looking in, one of my favorite things about this band that really adheres to my favorite thing about a lot of my favorite bands, like Between Barry to Me and Devin Townsend and all those guys, is that with Allegiant's records, you can really hear substantial growth between each record. So each one, as they've come out, have kind of been my favorites. You know what I mean? Like, there's always something new and impressive that they have put forth musically for each release. So currently, my favorite album is the one we're working on, because it's got, you know, it's just the next step musically. You know, all vocal changes and everything aside, you know, I'm really impressed with what Greg and Mike and Brandon and Corey have all done with songwriting on this. It's really I think next level for you know, not only Allegiant as a band and their progress, but for just kind of melodic death metal, you know, in general. I think that it's you know, putting us right there with, you know, the bands that are also doing things in melodic death metal, like Black Crown, and like Day of Living Scars and stuff. I think there's some pretty unique things on this record that are going to you know, showcase the fact that everyone in the band has grown as a musician over the past couple years.
Cool. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna jump around.
Yeah.
Hey, my PC glitched up. Answer my question about touring in Florida. Oh, see, it must have glitched when I answered it. Yeah, we don't know. We're not right now. Touring is kind of off in the distance because we're working on the record, so we haven't quite got there yet. we have a line on something in August. We'll see if it comes. You know, there's always hooks in the water. We'll see what catches on. I asked you this last time around, but you didn't get to answer. Do you and Mike ever fight about who gets to solo over what part? Nah, not really. Generally, how it works is so I write my half and he writes his half, and whoever writes it just decides where the other person's going to solo. This record, Mike did ask me to solo over one of our one part, and I liked the part too much, and I was like, dude, I don't want to solo over that. I'd rather just like groove on it. And then so he's like, well, take a solo in the beginning. So I was stoked on that because I like my solo a lot. It took me a few times writing it, but I'm stoked on it now. It's not the like flashiest thing, but I think it's like pretty cool and tasteful. And then I get that cool riff that's going on. That riff is pretty cool. I will definitely, I love that riff. Let's see. Alex writes, took a trip to Kansas to see you guys last Halloween. I was the guy in the Stay Puft marshmallow costume.
Yeah.
You ruled. You kicked major ass. Any chance to stop in Minnesota on the next tour? Yeah, it's the same question as Florida. We don't know. And the thing that we might have in August, which I think we're in agreement. We're not counting on that.
Yeah.
We'll see. We don't count.
We'll see.
I'm so sick of being disappointed. I just assume we're not going to get any tour. But
it's just good. You know, in this industry, it's good to not count your eggs before they hatch, just because so many variables can change.
Yeah, and there's so much competition for everything. So.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, when we do tour next, we're definitely going to be trying to, make our rounds everywhere that we can, just because we're going to be supporting a new record. So a lot of the areas that we may not have hit in the past, or areas that we have hit before or just areas that we've, never hit before at all. We're definitely going to try to expand that market, I'm sure.
Have you guys seen or going to see the new Deadpool movie? Seen it twice.
I have not seen it yet, so yeah, I don't know. I really want to. I've just been busy.
Yeah, we were actually talking about this earlier today. It was awesome. Star Wars is like my favorite thing on the planet, and I only went to see that once, and I've seen Deadpool twice. If that says anything. And I like the new Star Wars for the most part.
Star Wars really is his favorite thing on the planet. We've had in-depth conversations.
Very, very upset about the expanded universe. I'm sure people have seen that on my Facebook, but.
Oh yeah. Clone Wars, bro. Clone Wars is sick.
It is sick. It's very sick. Sorry, didn't mean to sound pushy. Oh, you're fine, dude. I didn't take it pushy. You're good. Silly reading inflections. This is why you can't have serious conversations in text form. Any cool new scientific discoveries, inventions you guys have read about recently? We have the gravitational wave thing, which is amazing.
Yep. There's a cool thing that wasn't. It depends what you mean by recent. Like in the last year, recent. Not a whole lot. But in the past 5 years, recent. Yeah, for sure. There's the gravity waves thing, which is really cool. That just happened. Might have happened a little bit too late for me to write about it.
Oh yeah.
But at the same time, there's different other scientific concepts that I've kind of delved into. One of which being the it's basically an experiment that was conducted in 2011, where scientists basically discovered that there's actually something going on inside a vacuum. By reflecting light off of mirrors, they were able to create virtual molecules, basically. That just kind of, within the vacuum.
I'm sorry, my cat is like totally
Molecule.
interrupting you, and just. But yes.
But yeah, stuff like that. Definitely keeping it scientific. We are subject matter wise for this album. There's some things that are a little bit more conceptual, as opposed to just being the scientific song after scientific song kind of thing. There's a few songs that are tied together, and then a few other songs that kind of act as commentary on those songs that are tied together. But there's definitely a good handful of songs that are about different scientific theories and different scientific fields as well.
Okay, you guys are you guys are dropping Crabman and cat themed stuff. Are you guys gonna have a gimmick? If so, I mean, we have not really decided. I mean, Miles.
Yeah.
Miles is so much more than just a Crabman.
Yeah.
He's
he's
a
fucking great guy and
yeah,
a good friend. And it's the kind of thing where it's like the crab thing, I think, wasn't intended to be a gimmick. It just kind of happened that way, and I think that's kind of how things like that work. I think that if we tried to replace a gimmick with another gimmick, it would feel kind of forced. So, if something comes along,
Yeah, I mean, you will be seeing the crab a little bit more in the next couple of music videos, but I mean, to what extent? I mean, who even knows yet? We haven't even filmed it, but. Will there be any guest appearances on the new record? Right now, there's 2. We'll see if that stays. One is a definite, and the second one is planned, but we'll see what happens with scheduling and everything like that. I don't want to say yes, and then everything blows up in our faces. But. Okay. Did everyone finally get that gas mask to put over your face for the classical guitar parts? But as long as you enter the Florida or be near the Florida border, I will be there. Awesome. We'll definitely try to come near the Florida border. No gas mask. I'm just screwed. I will always be screwed. That's but you know what? It's good. So it's not like fake to hear my breathing. Oh, Danielle. Here we go. Hey, cuties. Question for Riley. When I saw you guys in Kansas, you guys had the best costumes ever. Yours was rather promiscuous. Wait, promiscuous. There we go. Sorry. We were just discussing how screwed up English is today. That one. Yeah. Okay. On a scale from 1 to Greg's heart, how cold were you?
I was pretty. I wasn't cold until afterward. I was basically fucking. I sweat like a fucking animal when I'm on stage, and so I'm really cold after every performance. But the fact that I was wearing a cocktail dress and a pair of boxers that, unbeknownst to me, had a really unfortunate hole in them.
He's saying he was balls out.
I was literally balls out for that show. And I'd say that I was on a scale of 1 to 10. I'd say I was an 8 after that show.
So you guys in New York City in November after 1G van incident and was blown away. Hey, thanks, buddy. You guys, you said about May for the new release. Is that still the plan? No objection to clean vocals. It's looking more like June, but if certain tours don't happen, I think they're going to push it back because the plan is now we're in competition with I think it was Whitechapel and Revocation, and we would lose that competition. So if we're going to be on that tour, that big tour, then it'll come out in June. If not, we'll probably push it back just so we're not buried.
Yeah. It's important when we release something, just because our whole touring cycle for the next year is going to pretty much be based off of that. So we don't want to necessarily release something while a bunch of other death metal bands are releasing things and touring as well. So depending on what happens exactly, I think what Greg said, we're looking at June, but it might get pushed back a little bit.
How hard is it to put together a live set list with new recordings coming out? I mean, is it hard to choose whether older tracks are going to keep in the set list and which not? It's stupid hard. It was stupid. I mean, that's the reason our last CD release was 2 hours, because to play all the stuff we want to play, it's just ridiculously hard, and it's only getting harder, which is the worst part. And so the good part is, like, when we do a headlining tour, we can play as for long as we want, and we'll generally play everything that we kind of want to. When we do like a 30-minute set, it's insanely hard. It's like ridiculously hard. You just got to try to like get at least one thing off of every record. So I don't know, like, people want to hear certain songs. Like, people always want to hear Biomech, and they want to hear 1.618 now, and Behold, you know. So it's like you can't. It's hard to like do a set without those three, and that sucks too. I don't think we're gonna play Biomech on the next tour, to be honest, because it needs to be put to bed, and we have so many others. Not that it needs to be put to bed, but we've been playing it every tour ever. I don't think we played a tour without it, so it's time to take a break from it so we can put some other songs in there that we want to play. Because I mean, the last tour was the first tour we ever played Secrets of the Sequence, which went over well, and Dyson Sphere. Dyson Sphere was I was very impressed. That was a rad song to play live.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah.
People seem to enjoy it.
Yeah. Any new rig additions, guitar gear being used on this record? Yeah. Hey, I'll actually show you. I'll be right back. We don't know. Don't quite know what 8-string we're going to be using. We'll find that out tomorrow. But I'm going to be using this like Paisley Telecaster on some of the clean parts, because why the hell not? And then I'm borrowing this, and I'm also borrowing a Gibson jazz guitar, like a 335. So I play lots of country licks on there. I don't really like country, but some of the guitar players is pretty awesome. But can Riley pig squeal?
Fuck yeah, I can pig squeal. Hey, okay, so check this out. I have a little project that I did with my bass player and drummer for Son of Aurelius, and it was a total just like joke fluke thing, but we decided to put it online. If you look up the band Plutonium Love Ship on Bandcamp, you can hear some of my pig squeals being featured in a Trailer Park Boys themed grindcore project.
There you go. And who doesn't love the Trailer Park Boys?
Exactly.
I'm excited for the new season coming out on Netflix.
I know, it's gonna be so good.
Hey Greg, what's your favorite Star Wars character? Dude, that's a really hard question, because there are lots of cool characters. You're gonna have to go with Darth Maul, though. The coolest character, the coolest character with the crappiest death ever. But he does survive. He does survive in the Clone Wars. And also, Boba Fett survives the Sarlacc. He blows it up from the inside, for all those people that didn't know. But that was all an expanded universe, so who knows? It might be false.
Now that there's new fucking canon coming out.
Yeah. Why does Corey play on Fender? He actually doesn't anymore. He signed with Legator. So just like Mike, he's playing Legator. So Fender basses are pretty good. I can't stand the Strats. I really like this Tele, but yeah, I mean they're not too bad.
Yeah. The P bass.
Yeah.
You can get some pretty good tones out of that thing.
Yeah. Why do you play a classical guitar? It's for fun. Hey buddy. So short story why I started playing classical guitar was Randy Rhoads as a kid, and there was like in the '80s when I was growing up, there was always like instrumental parts on records, like Overkill, Sepultura. I mean, they all had them, so it was just a part of metal. And when it came to going to college, they're like, "What do you want to do?" I'm like, "Well, I want to play guitar." They're like, "What do you want to do?" I'm like, "I want to be a rock star." They say, "Well, good luck. Pick one, classical or jazz." So I already was playing a little bit of classical, so I just jumped on that train, and that's why. And it's fun. Oh, and another reason was I could never find a band when I was a kid, and I could never find a drummer. So with classical music, I didn't need a band. I was my own band because you're playing all the parts. So that's why. That's another big reason why I started playing classical guitar, and I love it. It's not as I don't find it as fun as playing metal, but I find it very rewarding. And playing my own music that I've written is very cool. I'm actually going to start doing some solo classical gigs here, so I'm looking forward to that. I've been wanting to do that for a while. I haven't done like a solo like classical gig since I moved to Colorado, and that's been 7 years, something like that. So, Greg, I love your cat. Yeah, Decibel is a sweetheart. She's great. She's tiny and she makes too much noise, but she's good. What band is on my shirt? Byzantine, the best band out of West Virginia ever. Uh, how does Greg's writing and lead style compare to yours and his predecessor? Not sure what you mean, buddy. I've kind of been in the band for so long. Like, I don't even know. Are you talking about Mike? Mike's the new guitar player. You probably mean Mike. Uh, uh, so Ryan, original guitar player, was like a technique god. He's like super solid, super clean, uh, really fast. Uh, and where Mike is a little bit kind of more my style. Like I think Mike's like way faster than me um, with alternate picking stuff. Uh, but his style is a little bit more like me than Ryan was. Me and Ryan were kind of very polar opposites. He really like Jeff Loomis and Rusty Cooley, and where I kind of gravitate more towards like Marty Friedman ish and like Per Nilsson and Benjamin Ellis and Paul Wardingham and Annie James. Those are kind of like my guys now. Love Dyson Sphere in New York City. What are your favorite prog bands? Man, you're talking to the two prog heads in this band. Here, hit this one first, Riles.
My favorite prog bands. That is a loaded question because there are lots of different definitions to that word.
Hey, let's not mince words. Let's talk about our definition of prog.
My definition of prog is like bands like Carnival and Leprous and Steven Wilson, all of which are amazing bands that are doing amazing things. I really like Richelieu. They're a little bit more like alternative rock, but their last album had a lot of progressive, feels going on. I mean, the classics and the greats like King Crimson and fucking Jethro Tull and early Pink Floyd. Some of the lesser known guys like Gong and Magma.
Magma's the shit.
Yeah, dude, Magma's so good. They literally invented a language, and created a genre called Soul that has spawned so many different bands, like Ruins from Japan. It's a Soul band that was influenced by the Magma thing, and they fucking rule.
Yeah.
But I just love prog. I love all prog. It's so much fun to listen to, especially that old silly Canterbury shit from the fucking late '60s.
I'm a huge Yes fan. Like Yes is kind of my jam. I love Dream Theater. Dream Theater and Yes are kind of like very huge in my writing a lot. And yeah, there's not a lot of like new prog bands out there. A lot of people call bands prog, and they're not fucking prog. I don't care what anybody says. Like,
Yeah,
I have a hard time considering Opeth prog. I don't consider them prog at all. They're just metal bands.
No, I don't either. I think that they moved from being like black and death metal to like melodic metal to like
70s
hard rock.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Great.
Yeah, like 70, like psychedelic rock more
Yeah.
than they're like a prog band.
And
you
I-
know, it's a fine line, but
yeah,
you know, one of the things that makes progressive music so much, you know, of its own thing is the elements of theatricality that go along with it. Like if you watch early performances from Yes or Genesis or Pink Floyd or any of those guys who really pioneered the genre, you know, they are practically in theater costumes. You know what I mean? Like their theatricality was a huge part of it, and that has, for the most part, been lost
yeah,
to what people call progressive music these days.
yeah. I mean, yeah, like Emerson, Lake, and Palmer, they were,
Oh yeah,
awesome. And yeah, them and King Crimson. I mean, can't really go wrong.
nah.
And I
It's really
forget.
funny because Greg Lake from Emerson, Lake and Palmer did vocals on the first 2 King Crimson albums.
Yeah, lots of
and it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
You know, and then Bill Bruford from King Crimson went on to do stuff with Yes. And I love how intermingled the old school prog scene was. You know what I mean? It really stands as a testament to what genres of music can do when the people within them cooperate with each other. You know what I mean? When it's not a fucking competition. When amazing musicians are making music with other amazing musicians for the sake of making amazing music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is another thing that I have kind of felt has been, for the most part, lost within modern progressive music.
My roommate's creeping. Fuck you.
Fucking Tyler.
Tyler. You guys ever see that video with that dude in his underwear while I'm playing classical guitar with his asshole right here? Stick to your face in. It's get the fuck out of here. Any advice for new guitar players? You can't watch it on mobile? Well, that's sweet that you're creeping on me from the other room. Any advice for new guitar players? Yeah. The metronome thing that I did earlier, man. You gotta hit that hard and fast. But what I mean by fast is the quicker you do it, the better you're gonna get. Because go as slow as possible. The best practice is slow practice. Let's see here. What are the specs on the Jackson models that you use? They're just stock, really. They're both everything that I'm using is a slat model. The only which stands for soloist archtop, which are just standard. The only 2 that are not that I use is a B8 and then the Chris Broderick, the new Chris Broderick. But yeah, they're all, just standard. You can look them up. I don't know them off the top of my head. But you check out the new Dream Theater record? I didn't dig it much. I prefer the self-titled over it. The self-titled is amazing. They really outdid themselves on that. The new one, I think it's going to be one of those records that is going to take people a long time to get into, and then when you look back on it, you're going to realize how amazing it is. Because I've only spent, I would say, half an hour on it, and I don't even know what track I got up to. But I just had it on while I was driving, so I wasn't even that paying attention to that too much. It seems good. Like it hasn't grabbed me yet, but then again, I haven't really dug into it. I think I have a feeling that album is going to take work to understand, and then when you do understand, that's going to be amazing.
I think that Dream Theater has always been just far enough ahead of the curve that when they release new music, people are generally kind of put off by it. But
yeah,
like Greg said, once you give it time to digest and it's I think that it's a really good record. I just think that, like Greg said, it's going to take a little time for people to catch on. But that's kind of par for the course for Dream Theater.
Yeah. I don't know what the storyline is either. I'm sure if I knew the storyline that I would be like way more interested, you know. I don't know it yet. I really haven't put the time in yet. You know what? You could actually pass for a long lost relative of John Petrucci. I'll take that as a compliment. Thank you, sir. Oh, wow. Plagued Earth, man, your questions keep popping up. You know what I can't understand? How the fuck do all of these new metal bands bass players have Warwick thumb basses? They're like around 10,000 for a real one from Germany. Do you have similar thoughts on any new guitarist equipment? Man, it's a really expensive hobby.
Yeah.
I don't know what I would do if I didn't have endorsements, man, to tell you. You need the right tools for the job, and I don't know how to do it if you don't. Yeah, I really don't know. I mean, poor Corey, he's been suffering. He's a long-suffering bass player with just what he's had, and I think he constantly has rig problems on tour. But how do you feel about Chris Cornell singing on Temple of the Dog?
Oh, dude, it's so good.
It is good. Hunger Strike is amazing.
It's definitely stands out way more than Eddie Vedder's vocals do on that album. I'm glad that it was just a one-time thing. I don't think that because that band is like a memoriam. That album, it was like a in memory of kind of thing for, I can't remember what his name was, but somebody who had died. And I'm glad that it was just kind of like a tribute project. I don't think that if they would have gone on doing things, it would have ended well. But yeah, dude, fucking his vocals on Hunger Strike are really good. Those little backing parts, and Say Hello to Heaven. Say Hello to Heaven is like one of my favorite Chris Cornell vocal lines ever.
I hope everybody just like my cat's asshole while Riley's talking. See, Riley can't see any of this. And yeah, Riley's just talking, and my cat just decides to show her asshole to the whole world. Yeah. Oh, here's one for you, Ross. Riley, I admire your phenomenal vocal work on Under a Western Sun. Bam. So do I. Did the band get any shit because it's not as technical as The Farthest Reaches? Buckle up, everyone.
Yeah, we basically fell off the map because of that album. Because several fans, if you can even fucking call them that, decided to get their panties in a real big fucking twist over the whole clean vocals thing about us taking a little bit more melodic direction. And we couldn't really self-promote without having these people like show up and just talk shit. And because of that, like, it really negatively affected our press. We released independently, so we were really kind of counting on fan support to, make it happen and have us do things and go forward. And as you can see from the band's extreme inactivity, that didn't happen. It was very much not welcomed by the majority of our fan base.
Which is super sad, because that is one of the best records I've ever heard. Like, hands down.
If it wasn't a Son of Aurelius album, people would have responded to it much differently, but because they were expecting Farthest Reaches Part 2 after 5 years, and they didn't get that at all, they were just very upset.
Okay. I'm gonna skip around because I think some people are getting ignored. Hey, Greg. Hey, Jeanette. What about the Black Hole Wars? Throw in some metaphysics in there. Yes, I agree. I think that we should totally do that. It won't happen on this record. But, let me see. Sequence of the Sequence is my #1 favorite Allegiant track. God damn, it's good. Hey, thanks, buddy. I was really proud of that one. Andrew Wood, that's who they were paying homage to. I'm not sure.
Oh, gotcha.
What's that in relation to?
Temple of the Dog.
Oh, okay. Okay. What would you guys describe as the worst venue show you've ever played?
I didn't play it with a Legion. um, I haven't really played any shows that left a really bitter taste in my mouth. With a Legion, there was only one show on the last tour that didn't really end well, but that's because it was kind of booked last minute, and the venue was run by Hell's Angels. Um, so when we didn't get paid as much as we were supposed to, there was nothing we could really do about it. Um, I'm not going to throw any venues under the bus or anything like that, but that was definitely kind of shitty.
I think the worst gig that a Legion ever played is we got a gig opening for Snot, and we were supposed to be the promoter like packed the bill, like, and I think there's like 15 bands, and we were supposed to be a Legion, another local band called like Iconocost. They were really good, and Snot. But the promoter decided to bump us, and he put his band on there. So instead of us being almost direct support, he made us open the show before doors. So we played to the sound man, who was an asshole, and they wouldn't let anybody in to come see us. And yeah, that was by far the worst show I think I've ever done. There's been lots of bad shows. There's more bad shows than good shows. The good shows make it all worth it, but there's way more bad shows than good shows. In reference to the classical guitar question, I read somewhere that you went to the U of Cincinnati. Yep, I got my bachelor's degree in classical guitar performance from the Cincinnati Conservatory of Music, and that's how I ended up here in Denver. Actually, I was getting I came here to get my master's at DU at Lamont School of Music, and that didn't end up happening. I started playing metal, but. Oh, Jerry Richards, my buddy. This is for just Slays. Hey, thanks, buddy. I think it's like your Magnus Opus Magnus. I totally messed that one up. But when I try to imitate playing it, it sounds like Roy Clark having a seizure. Will there be any new songs on the next release, like Dyson Sphere, that I can murder? I don't know. There'll be songs. I don't know if a song sounds like Dyson Sphere, but there's 11 songs on it.
All of them murderable.
all of them you're perfectly welcome to slay. I'm interested to know your guys' opinions on some of the weird experimental noise groups that have been becoming popular surprisingly recently. I've finally been able to get into Death Grips, and it's been really eye-opening.
I really like Death Grips. I wouldn't really call them a noise project, more than I would call them experimental hip-hop. But yeah, Money Store is a fucking phenomenal album, and the album they just released last year, its name is escaping right now, but it was like a two-parter with Jenny Depp and stuff, was also really, really good. As far as just the noise genre in general, I think that very few people can pull it off. I think that there's a lot of people out there just like sampling refrigerators and feeding it through a bunch of fucking reverb, and it's like it just doesn't quite hit the mark. But when people do hit the mark with noise music, it's really cool. I like how innovative it is.
I'm really glad that he's here because I have no clue what the hell you guys are talking about. Oh, I like this question. Hey, Greg, is there a song from your discography that you don't like to play or would scrap if you could? The song from Seed to Throne, I hate it. I hate the song. I think it starts off so promising and then it just takes a nosedive and I can't stand it. We've never played it. We've only recorded it. The band never played it. It was kind of like thrown together at the last minute because the opening riff was so cool. But then again, some people really like that song, so I don't know. I know we'll never play that. We'll never do a play fragments from start to finish. We'll never do it. I don't even know how to play half those songs anymore. I don't think I have the music. Yeah. You spoke about stage presence and theatrics as part of a show earlier. Budget and reality aside, what sort of vision do you guys have in mind for the ideal alley gay on live show? Something like Devin Townsend? Eventually, we want to get a projector. And
yeah, lots of lights. You know?
Yeah.
I think that lights really help live performance. I think that that's like the only reason to go see Tool anymore is for the light show.
And I actually just got DOS Lite on my laptop and have been experimenting programming lights. So that's going to happen. Yeah, light show can make a huge difference, but it is very incumbent upon budgets because lights are going to be expensive and carrying them around is going to be hard because the stuff in the trailer gets thrown around. Anything you care to reveal about the style of the upcoming record and how it compares to Elements? It's going to be an Allegiant record. Like, I mean, if you're a fan of Allegiant, you're not going to be disappointed. It's just, I mean, I don't know. Maybe you'd be a better person to answer this, Riley.
Well, like I said earlier, I think that each Allegiant record is a testament to how much the musicians who make the music have grown between records. So stylistically, I think that they stay close to their style, but they showcase the new things that they have not necessarily learned, but become comfortable enough to showcase. I mean, like there's lots of really cool classical parts. There's a lot of kind of ambient sections that Michael wrote. I think that stylistically, it's definitely, like Greg said, an Allegiant record. And in comparison to Elements, I would say that it is a step of natural growth in the right direction.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah. It's always hard to answer those type of questions because you're so invested in the project. Over 2 years of writing it, it's just kind of what happens. Some of it is, I mean, I have said before that this album was really written out of like desperation and depression. There's a lot of bad things happening in Allegiant's history over the past these 2 years, and the amount of touring we did, it was Mike and I felt really desperate about writing it because we never toured that much, so we had a lot more time to write a record. So this time we didn't have as much time, and so it was really rushed. And but I don't think it hurt the product at all because we wrote too much music and we trimmed it down. And even the stuff that didn't make the record, I'm super proud of, and it's going to make it their next record. And we'll see how the next record shapes up. We're already working on it. We haven't even recorded this one, and we already got plenty done for the next one. But yeah, this record is very. I mean, the last record was emotional draining for me because it was pretty much all on my shoulders. But this record is right up there for completely different reasons. So, what do you guys think of the new Obscure album?
I fucking love it. I'm like so floored by that fucking album. It's like my favorite death metal album that has come out in the past year for sure. Yeah. I just everything about its release has been so impressive to me. The fact that they, came out, their first single was, really like melodic, almost to the point of being kind of progressive, but was definitely just kind of like a melodic death metal song. And then the second song they released was like just your regular old Obscura, but like a 7.5-minute song, which was rad. And then the third song that they released was just like fucking totally different from anything they've done, just heavy, groovy, and fucking rad. And after listening to the rest of the album, especially some of the like chorus elements that they added into there, and the symphonic elements, I'm just like fucking so impressed by the Obscura record.
It was good. Riley's like been a big fan, and I've listened to it. It's good. It's still good. We were listening to it on the way to Nam. Actually, we were listening to the 3 tracks that they've released. Is the album even out yet?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, it is. Okay. Well, I need to get it. But
they've got an album stream, I think, still up.
Oh, really? Okay.
Do a little try before you buy.
Hey, Riley, which epic DBZ battle is your favorite? Also including the DBZ movies. What the hell is DBZ?
Also Dragon Ball Z. Also including the what?
Also including the movies.
Oh, the movies too. That's a tough question. I gotta think about that for a second. I mean, there's certain things that like when I was a kid, first watching that shit, fucking the oh my god. The Cell battle. God, I don't know why that took me so long. The Cell Kamehameha between Kid Gohan with the one arm and fucking Cell, and then Goku kind of comes back and from the afterlife kind of deal as like a spiritual guide. It was just fucking super cool. And now that I've gotten older and rewatched everything, fucking Broly battle is great. I fucking love it when Piccolo just like grabs Vegeta by his head and it's just like, you see what's going on out there, you fucking pussy? It's great.
Is that actually a line from Dragon Ball Z? Or you?
No, not verbatim, but it's pretty much what he said.
Well,
it's just kind of.
It totally would have been better if he did say that.
Himself, and another character just kind of picks him up by the back of his head and is like, "You see everybody fighting out there? You should really maybe fucking help us." And he's just like, "There's no point. We can't win. He's the legendary." Fucking, it's pretty good.
I love the legendary blah blah blah. Any thoughts on the new Megadeth album? It's better than Super Collider. No, it's good. I like it for sure. Yeah, I will definitely say it's the best thing they've done since. Oh man, I haven't like Megadeth's my favorite band, so tell you what, I haven't. 13, I didn't care for. I got to look at it. 13 and Endgame, I didn't care for, and Super Collider, it's all right, whatever. It's a rock album, just like the other two. They're all right, we have the inside track on some of those records, and so I don't know. I mean, it's definitely the best thing Megadeth's done in a long time, for sure. Since United Abominations, I think was that the two that Dave came back for. What was it? The System Has Failed and United Abominations. I love those records. I love them. Everything after that, they kind of like lost me a little bit, but I mean, there's definitely songs on Endgame and 13 that I liked, but they lost me the full thing. 13, I felt really cheated because half of those were B-sides that I already owned, like Black Swan and New World Order. Like, I had New World Order on the B-side of what I think Train of Consequences single that I own. So I was just like, I already own half these tunes, so I was pretty bummed out by 13, but let's see. Super Collider's better than Lulu. Hell yeah, it is. Lulu was straight up garbage. Super Collider was a bad Megadeth record, but if it's just a Dave Mustaine, like, I want to be like Thin Lizzy album, it's great. You know what I mean? It's just, it got shit because it wasn't a Megadeth record. It was still a fine record.
If Lulu didn't have any Metallica attachment to it, if it was just like a Lou Reed spoken word kind of thing, I think it would have been a lot fucking better. Because the lyrics are very, Lou Reed. They're very, his style, that traces back all the way to Velvet Underground. But yeah, the Metallica elements of that album just fucking ruined it. I am the fucking table. Jesus Christ.
I remember downloading Elements when it came out and thought to myself, I'm going to listen to it tomorrow at work for 4 hours. At first, I didn't like it because I wasn't expecting to be that different in comparison to Form Shifter, but since I love it, thanks, man. Yeah, it is different than Form Shifter for sure. You know, got Form Shifter had a different guitar player on it, writing half the music, and Elements was mostly me. So you're never going to get another Form Shifter probably, but Form Shifter is great. Yeah. Here's one for you, Riles. How do you feel about Seth from Septic Flesh's vocals? I would love to growl scream that low.
Real talk. I have never listened to Septic Flesh. There's a lot of death metal bands that have just kind of fallen to the wayside for me because I.
That is a lie. That is.
I really focus on stuff, and I'm like, oh, you're right. You showed me the.
Meow Meow Meow. Yeah.
Yeah, the Meow Mix song. Okay, so based off of the fact that I've only heard the Meow Mix song, they're good. He's a death metal vocalist. Like I said, I
love him.
To be able to give an actual critique.
Yeah. Will there be any crabcore worthy songs on this album? Oh my God, no.
No.
Yeah. The crabcore thing. Man, what a joke that took on a life of its own. No crabcore. No crabcore. You will see the death of crab on this record. I guarantee you that. From John C. Hey, Gregor and Lai, wanted to say hey, and then you guys play the best band I've ever heard. Oh, the best metal I've ever heard. Sorry, I can't read. Keep it coming. Greg, I've been playing guitar for about 13 years, and now I'm having trouble progressing a song past a rhythm and lead. Any advice for progression and segues? Dude, that's actually so. What you want to do, in my opinion, is listen to some bands with some strange forms, right? So what I mean by that is, in layman's songwriting terms, like intro, verse, chorus, bridge, whatever. Like Hangar 18, or I'm not thinking of Hangar 18. I'm thinking of Holy Wars. That song doesn't even have a chorus. You know what I mean? Experiment with crazy forms like that, where it's like you have kind of a verse part, but you don't really have a chorus. Or I thought Divine Intervention by Slayer had some really crazy forms. Like it'd be like verse, solo, verse, chorus, solo, craziness, interlude type thing, solo, bridge, just you want to mix it up like that in the forms and not have it be so A, B, C, A, B, C, A, B, C, but like A, D, B, whatever. What are some of your favorite albums from last year? What albums are you looking forward to this year?
Cattle was amazing last year. It's one of my for sure favorite death metal records that came out.
Yep, mine too. That record was amazing.
That tops my list for sure.
I really enjoyed Coma Elliptic last year. I know Riley might have different.
Who?
Coma Elliptic, Between the Baron and Me. I really enjoyed that record.
It's funny. Between the Baron and Me is my favorite band, and or not my favorite band, but one of my favorite bands in metal. And it's not that I don't like Hypersleep and Coma Elliptic and Great Misdirect and all the other stuff that they've done after Colors. It's just that it hasn't hit me the same way Colors did. I feel like the reason Colors was so successful was because they kind of shifted gears a little bit, and that little jolt to the system really affected people a lot. And outside of the fact that it was a fucking amazing record, that definitely helped. And I feel like since then they haven't really done much of anything new. And so for me personally, it's just hard for me to sink my teeth into their past few releases like I could with Colors, fucking 7 years ago.
Really? Was that 7 years ago?
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah. Armored Saint, I'm a huge Armored Saint fan. I love their new record that came out last year. Symphony X was great. Underworld was amazing. It's hard to remember all the albums that came out last year. I actually did a year-end list for some metal magazine that never made.
Did that Winter Sun come out in 2015 or was that 26 or 2014?
I think that's 2014. It's been a few years.
Okay.
The Winter Sun, which was awesome. I love that.
Yeah, that's Winter Sun was awesome. Time One or whatever.
I enjoyed Repentless. I don't know if that was this year or last year for Slayer. It was Slayer. Solution 45, the new Solution 45. Dreaming in the Waking State or something like that. That was rad. But so yeah. Albums this year that I'm looking forward to. I've really enjoyed Purple by Baroness. It's kind of a new band I'm kind of getting into. I've enjoyed that.
Baroness is rad. I saw them with Opeth like 2009, 2010 or some shit like that, and they were great.
Yeah, I was like pleasantly surprised by Purple. I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
We'll see how the new Anthrax does. I'm a John Bush fan, so Worship Music was good, but we'll see.
I'm stoked for new Tool, despite what a piece of shit Maynard is. I mean, I love Tool, and I've always loved their music. Danny Carey and Adam Jones, and Justin Chancellor together, just such a powerhouse that even if there's a fucking lackluster egomaniac doing vocals, I think that the music will shine through. There's lots of big, long instrumental parts that the Tool has always kind of done.
I don't know who else is putting out a record this year that I'd be excited about. But, yeah. In reference to Corey's struggle with bass gear, I can relate. Bass players have it hard. Dude, you do. Not as hard as drummers, though. That is actually correct. But playing a bass is no joke.
The unsung heroes.
That's true. And I'm
90% of music. There's a lot of bass heavy music. That's one thing I love about the new Obscura record is that it's like such a showcase for Linus's fretless playing. It's amazing.
Yeah. Well, I definitely think Corey. This is the first album I haven't written a lick of bass on. Corey's doing it all, so I'm very excited to see what he comes up with. What I've heard has been outstanding. Like, he's really knocked it out of the park. So I'm really excited to hear what he comes out with. Yeah. Have you guys thought about coming to Latin America? Yeah, absolutely. We've had 3 tours that have collapsed coming to Latin America. That is definitely something we had a band meeting with the management and our new agent earlier this year. Was it just you and me, Riley, with them?
No, I think Corey and Michael were also on that call.
I didn't think Corey could make it for some reason. I don't know. But yeah, we talked about going to down south for sure. We definitely want to do it. We want to go everywhere. It's a matter of money.
Yeah. Travel is expensive.
Yeah, it sure is. When you guys played San Diego last year with Act of Defiance, the venue was barely half full. It was great for me as a fan as I got to talk to you, Greg, not Mike, and Brandon before Act came on. So is the band opposed to returning to the Brick by Brick? Absolutely not. That was actually one of the better shows on the whole tour, sadly enough. Like I said, lots of bad shows. I think Rochester was the worst. Didn't we play to like 3 people?
Yeah, that's real bad.
Yeah. You guys want to know what it's like being in the Legion? Playing in Rochester to 3 people.
I'm actually a San Diego native. I grew up in Escondido. So playing Brick by Brick was really fun for me. It was the first time I'd ever actually played there, but I have been to dozens of shows there. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. And we love going to San Diego. I think that's the second time we've actually played Brick by Brick. And every time we go, it's much better. Like, that was way better than the first time we played. The first time we played was not great at all. And that was on we were touring on Fragments the last time we played Brick by Brick. But, yeah, that was way better. And as long as it keeps getting better, man, yeah. Veil of Noth has a new album coming out. Fallujah also has one coming out this year. Veil of Noth, they're from our hometown, and you know, one of my best friends ever was the original guitar player of the band, and they kicked him out. So me and Veil of Noth have kind of, there's a wedge between me and Veil of Noth right now. I love Eric to death, and Alan, their bass player. I love those guys, but it's hard for me being so close to the band that, yeah, not too stoked on the new Veil of Noth. I mean, good for them. Good for them for keeping going, but not for me. I jumped off that train. As for Fallujah, I don't care.
Yeah, I've had a bad history with people in that band, and I think that's where I'm going to leave it.
He can go on for a long time.
I have no interest in the new Fallujah.
He actually was in Fallujah for a minute. Or you were just filling in, right?
I covered vocals for them on a tour that didn't end well because of an act of God and the aftermath and even the preparation for that tour. You know, just lots of disrespect, lots of really shitty behavior from a couple members of that band. But I don't want to get into it. I'm not trying to fucking haze anybody. That's not how I do.
Yeah, hope they do very well.
Yeah, you know, I'm glad to see that there's a band like that out there doing so much for metal. But it's not my cup of tea.
Yeah, neither for me. I don't understand the Fallujah thing, but good for them. You know. Let's see. Greg, sorry to blowing up this chat. Oh, you're fine. This chat up, but could you have Corey message me? I have some bass playing questions for him unless you can answer them. I need help with transitioning and putting my material together and making them into songs. Corey is like, he goes to school and he's a really hard guy to get a hold of.
Yeah.
I can ask him, but I mean, he's a really hard dude to get. I mean, he actually shut his Facebook off last month to just get away from everything.
Just so he could focus on school.
Yeah.
I talked to him for like a minute today between classes. You know what I mean?
He
doesn't have much time between writing stuff. And,
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, he's a hard dude. But I mean, you can Facebook me with your questions, dude, and I'll certainly try to help you if you want.
Yeah.
There's lots of bungholes. I'm not gonna. Everybody's talking about my cat's bunghole. Look, everybody. There's one bunghole. Here's another bunghole. I just cleared lots of questions from the bunghole that are bunghole. Oh wow, I didn't know that. Holy schnikes. Schnikes? I don't know what that's referring to, but I'm glad you know it now.
Probably the Fallujah thing.
Oh yeah.
It's not very well known history
you filled in. Yeah. We've played with Fallujah twice. Way back when we just got signed, and then we played with them at South by Southwest last year, and it was fine. Yeah, they did really well. Would you want metal to once become mainstream like it did back in the 80s? If you ask me, it would be great for metal to become more exposed to people, but the metal community is already cancerous. Imagine in a scenario in which metal is mainstream. You know, I actually had this thing. I was the day that I was hanging out with Chris Adler at Red Rocks. I was sitting there and watching Bullet for My Valentine, and I can't stand the band. Like I tried to like them for my wife because she's been friends with those guys, and so I've really tried to put my time in with the band, but I can't get into it for the life of me. And I guess they were saying that their album was like #1 in a whole bunch of countries, and all I can say is that's awesome. You know what I mean? Like, the more people that are exposed to metal, like even if I don't like it, benefits us and everybody else. They said like that Fallujah thing. Like, it's not my thing, but the better that they do is the better for everybody in the thing. And that's why it was so sad to see Mayhem go down. And that's Ozfest. and we've heard that Sounds of the Underground is coming back this year. Hopefully that happens. But yeah, I mean, the more mainstream that metal gets,
the more metal can be made.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
there's not
the biggest problem with any genre is financial stress due to lack of exposure, or lack of, not necessarily lack of support, but lack of, you know, like I said, lack of exposure leads to financial stress. And I think that, you know, if more people in the mainstream were into metal, that there would just be naturally more money in the genre, and that would allow for, you know, better production qualities for metal bands to afford. It would allow for, you know, more lucrative tours to happen, you know, in bigger and better venues. I would love to see a fucking 80s style resurgence of the popularity of metal. I just don't know if that's a realistic expectation.
Yeah. So it's not, I mean, my personal opinion is metal is not really for unintelligent people, just because it's a lot to take in. You know what I mean? There's a lot going on. It's like how a lot of people can't appreciate Bach. They can't make sense of it.
Like a lot of people just don't like jazz because it's too chaotic. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
not necessarily that they're unintelligent. It's just that it's like, it's a lot to digest, and a lot of people don't listen to music for those reasons. You know what I mean? They listen to music so they can kind of tune out and just kind of relax and listen to a 4/4. You know what I mean? Metal has always been kind of more musicians' music, but you know, there's definitely been times when people, you know, jump onto it. The early 2000s was a really good example when metal was really, really popular again. And that may have had something to do with the more simplified song structures that were coming out of metalcore. You know what I mean? They were much more digestible than a lot of the tech and gent stuff that has been, you know, flooding the mainstream metal circuit for a while now. You know, I think that it's hard because a lot of people want to see metal just get crazier and crazier and crazier, but a lot of those same people want to see it get more and more popular, and that crossover doesn't really work too well.
Yeah. I like this question a lot, actually. This is so amazing. Like, me and Riley were talking about half this stuff today. Do you believe Allegiant is underrated? Oh, man. Do I believe Allegiant is underrated? Now,
I think Allegiant does not get the recognition for how much hard work they have put in the past 7 years.
I'm looking at 10 years, and no one gives a shit. Oh, man. I mean, so it's so weird because we were actually we were having a conversation about Carcass and what the Walker's little interview that he had, and he said they need the masters to come back. So for me and my personal ego, I would say that we're grossly underrated. But then the logical part of me goes, you know what? Maybe we're not that good, and maybe that's why no one's taken notice, you know. But the people that do notice,
style of music that is unique. You know what I mean? I don't think that I think that as far as being a melodic death metal band, there aren't many bands that are out right now that are doing a lot of similar things. I think that, you know, August Burns Red is pretty close, minus the breakdowny parts. You know? But there's just, I think that the lack of the lack of popularity of Allegiant comes from the fact that there's just not a lot of other bands like us out there right now,
and we have a dumb name,
good thing or a really bad thing.
We also have a name that no one knows how to pronounce either. So,
yeah, or spell, which is not very search engine friendly.
Yeah, we did not do ourselves a favor by naming ourselves that. But, you know, I mean, I've thought when it comes to this, I mean, it's really hard to see the opportunities that we don't get, and I mean, like, extremely hard, and it's very depressing a lot of times. And I mean, every day I think about that. I mean, I get friends that are like, "Hey, man, I was at the Lamb of God show, and I was wearing an Allegiant shirt, and some dude runs up to me. He's like, 'Oh my God, you've heard of them? You know who they are?' And that sucks. You know, that sucks hard from all the work we put in. that no one really knows.
And opportunities do kind of go to the wayside. You know what I mean? For the sake of trying to keep the metal economy alive. I mean, Greg and fucking Chris Adler, have become friends over the past little while, and we would love to go out with a band like Lamb of God. I think that would be fucking perfect. And we were talking about it, you know what I mean? And now they're on tour with Death Heaven, which is such a mismatch. But you know what I mean? It's musical relevance kind of falls to the wayside when there's no financial support for a genre. You know what I mean? The bands that make money have to stick together so they can continue to do so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's also, it's hard to ask people that are so close to it to have like a very even keeled response to that. But that would be a gut response is, yeah, we're underrated. But that's really not for us to decide. You know what I mean, if we're being completely fair. You know what? I'm going to search now because my buddy Elias here, I want to answer a lot of his questions just because the dude is in Greece and it's 5:40 a.m. Now it is 5:44 a.m. and he stood up. He has stayed up to hang out with us, which is amazing. First thing that comes to mind when you hear Greece: amazing architecture, amazing culture, a really horrible movie series. That has to do with weddings. Really good food.
Yeah. Oh man. Fucking pioneers of art as we know it today.
Yeah. If the world was more even keeled in its value system, then Greece would not be in debt. I'll have because people would actually go there to see the history and not be worried about a top 40 song about bubble butts. So, Greg, you mentioned after the last tour you were considering cutting off your hair. Riley, would you consider would be willing to back me up by threatening to help me beat him up if he does? I don't want to cut my hair, guys. It's just look, it's so thin. You can see right through it. Look at that.
I think that if Devin Townsend managed to rock a fucking skullet for all those years, that Greg should not cut his hair.
Yeah, but see, the thing with his though, and I was watching the Strapping Young Lad DVD yesterday. His hair stopped growing up here, but it grew everywhere else, and he had really long hair before he dreaded it. Right? My hair just doesn't grow at all. My hair's been the same length since 2010. It has never grown. And maybe it's all the damage from stage that it just breaks for years and years of headbanging, but I don't want to cut it. I would love it to be long and lustrous and rock out with me, but it doesn't. So I'm going to keep it as long as I can, but I make no guarantees.
I have begun the process of growing out my hair as a contingency plan, so that we will still have one long hair on the front lines.
Yeah. And Brandon, he has great hair, so he's not going to cut it. But thanks, Greg, for the advice. Just found out you guys played at the Montage in Rochester. I played that stage a few times, and I never once saw it packed out. So don't be discouraged. Which 3 Legion songs do you guys have the most fun with? Oh, not discouraged. Rochester's usually great. Just that time it wasn't that great. The 3 songs that I have the most fun playing, Accelerated Evolution is always fun. And that's why I think we keep throwing it back in the set, even though it's long. I mean, I know which songs I'm most proud of writing, but live, I don't know. I actually, you know what? I had a real fun time playing Phylogenesis for that one tour that we did it for Get Wrecked, and that was Mike's. I really enjoy playing Tartessos, but that's because I get to show off for an entire song. I don't get bored playing that song. There's some songs that I get so bored. The God Particle, I get extremely bored playing it. Biomech is getting a little boring playing. But
I really like playing. I really liked playing Cosmic Casket on the last tour.
Oh.
just because that song just fucking drops at the end, and it is just so fucking heavy, and like the energy that people put forth during that heaviness is so much fun to just be a part of. I also really liked playing the song that we played off of our new record
Oh yeah,
this last one. But that's mostly because I got to salsa dance during it.
I think we're actually shooting a playthrough for the song Gray Matter Mechanics here in the studio. We're actually going to do that, and
Nice.
I do want you to salsa dance during some of the flamenco shit. I think that'd be great.
I am absolutely okay with that.
That's what we'll do. Yeah, and also Dyson Spheres is one of the hardest songs to play, but I love watching the audience because they tend to like it, which is weird for me because it's kind of one of our slower songs, but they really do appreciate it. Greg, how did you get into classical? A lot of guitar players either start with jazz or classical. Have you played jazz before? I studied jazz in college when I was getting my classical guitar degree, and I recently um, I was a guest professor here at DSA, Denver School of the Arts, for classical, and they have a classical department that half the year it's classical and half the year it's jazz. And I was doing sound at the Five Points Jazz Festival down in downtown Denver, and I was at the youth stage, and blown away because I saw like 6 of my students like be ripping through jazz, and I'm just sitting there like oh my god, like I can't believe how far these dudes have come, and like I couldn't have been any more proud as a teacher to see like all those dudes do that. Classical is just for me. Uh, I don't know why it was, but I had a really hard time understanding jazz as a child, so I was more drawn to classical. Uh, the extended harmonies and everything like that, it took me a long time to understand it, so I didn't really get into jazz until later, and my ear developed a lot. So a lot of musical understanding, sometimes it takes time, and when your ear develops, you can appreciate more types of music, and that's definitely the case with me and jazz. I love jazz now. Didn't always love jazz. I know I pitched a fit in college when I had to play Bach because I wanted to play Handel because I love Handel, and they're like, no, if you're playing Baroque music, you got to play Bach. And it's like I don't understand why. I didn't get it, and then when I started to play Bach, I understood it. It was one of those things that you really have to dive into the score. Do you think you get haters because of the Threshold of Perception video? No, not really.
No.
We had a day off and we had a camera at a beach.
Yeah. I think everyone kind of who listens to Elysian gets the shtick at this point.
I think part of the strength is because of the classical stuff that we put in. We can kind of get away with a little bit more musically. Most of the haters we get either is we're not death metal enough, we're not brutal enough. That's one of them, and the other one is from deathcore, metalcore kids that say we're a horrible metalcore band, and that's because they have no concept of what melodic death metal is. They only understand how Americans bastardized melodic death metal and made it into metalcore as they lay dying. So they hear us that are melodic, and we're a shitty metalcore band because we're not metalcore at all. So they don't get it, and that's where I think most of the haters come from. But that is my best guess. And generally, we don't see a lot of haters either. We just not a lot of people know about us. That seems to be the case.
Yeah.
How do you guys balance day jobs and going on tour?
It is very difficult and a point of constant stress for most metal musicians in general.
I know for me, I make a decent living as a teacher, and I also work at a production company where I do sound, and sometimes when I'm hurting, I can do a gas station. And the worst part is being a private contractor. So like this year sucks because usually my lease is up. Uh, I have to go in the studio, which is a month and a half off of work, and then I have to pay taxes. I have to pay a lot of taxes because I'm a private contractor because no taxes taken out of my income. So I end up having to pay the government a lot of money, which is very painful because I don't, I make enough to get by, and it's everything's saving up for tour or saving up to go into the recording studio and saving up for taxes, and it's it's a paycheck to paycheck. I mean, I'm lucky enough that I make enough money that I can still meet all my responsibilities and tour, but it's very hard. So.
On that note, I actually have to retire from this Google Hangout at this moment in time. I had some prior obligations to go see Red Fang tonight. But thanks for all the questions, guys. It was really fun. We'll be doing another one of these, next week, I think?
Yeah, we'll do one every week. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have nothing to do, so I can hang out and answer more of your questions.
But. Oh, yeah. All right, guys. Well, I will see you on the flip.
Bye, buddy.
Later.
That was cool that we could make that happen. Let's see. What else we got? Hey, Greg, this is Trendon. We talked the other day about Genocide for Praise bass tabs. Guitar Pro 10 or 6 files. Yeah. You can hit me up on my personal Facebook, and I'll try to get you a PDF if that'll help. We'll see. Sometimes Guitar Pro 6 is a little buggy when it comes to exporting PDFs, but I'll try my best for you, buddy. Hashtag love the Legion. Hashtag love you, Fran. Is the Elements making of footage lost forever? No, it's actually on YouTube. You just have to start. You have to just comb through our uploaded videos. It's not complete, but it is up there. And yeah. All facets of a Legion songwriting, from blistering solos and bass lines to lyrics and classical guitar injections, are absolutely genius. How did you guys come up with the outro on Through the Ages of Ice, Otzi's Curse? Also, the Vols trilogy is phenomenal. Thanks, dude. So the outro is actually all my partner, Joe Ferris. That was his little solo that he did on the last record. Him and I are doing a couple video game soundtracks together, namely Sacrament. That's our big one that we're doing now. I'm really stoked with the music that we're doing, and hopefully it makes it to the next stage. They're going to Kickstarter it, and hopefully we can get it. It's like a World of Warcraft type thing, but it's very first person instead of third person. And I mean, I've seen all the test environmental footage, and it's amazing. I'm like super excited about it. But yeah, that's all my buddy Joe. All the like orchestra stuff, basically Joe's had a hand in all of it. Either I wrote it and he reamped it, or he came up with it all on his own. And I'm actually pushing Joe this time. He's doing some stuff a little bit out of the box for him, and like doing some whole new records based on a quote a talk by Stephen Hawking. So there's like a whole bunch of stuff that's going on, and he like created this piece through various sounds to transplant us to the next song and stuff like that. So yeah, Joe Ferris, man, he's an amazing friend, and he's an amazing talent. Will you be watching Telescope, the making of the James Webb Telescope from Science Channel? I actually don't watch TV, so no, I won't. Sounds very interesting though, but I don't even know if we have the Science Channel. Probably not. I don't know. Yes, Allegiant is underrated. Best model. Oh, thanks, buddy. Uh, let's see. Oh, Tim. Will to Run. Sleep at the Edge of Earth. Have you heard it? No. Haven't heard it. I have never actually heard of Will to Run. That's cool, man. I'll make a note right now. Will to Run. We'll check it out. Will to Run. Sleep at the Edge of the Earth. It sounds like a Persephone album, actually. Greg, can you upload the tabs for the most recent songs? All the tabs are actually on our Facebook. All the ones that we've released, they're under the notes section, and there's like a couple MediaFire links that you can go and download the tabs. It's all Guitar Pro, I think. Could you actually give us some context for Ezra's departure? I understand if you're not too keen to, but was never really explained. Miles said it was related to business side of Legion that didn't. I'm not going to talk much about Ezra. There's a reason he's not in the band anymore, and yeah, and that's what it is. I mean, it won't be too hard to discover it, but definitely don't like using a platform like this to like start drama, because it's a waste of my time and it's a waste of his time, and it creates negativity that no one really wants in their lives. You know what I mean? So it'll be much better for everybody to not go into it. But hope he's doing well. I'll say that. Could playing Summer Slaughter be a possibility for the band? It could be. The problem is it is so the competition for it's so fierce, and we've been up for it every year and have never been chosen. I mean, I know we are on the inside track for it this year, but that means nothing really. I know who's headlining, and everybody's going to be stoked when they find out who's headlining. And I know it's Sumerian's tour, so you wonder why there's always so many Sumerians on Summer Slaughters, because Sumerian owns the tour. So you can bet there'll be 2 Sumerian bands on there, and then it's really up. Metal Blade will probably get 1 band, you know, and if our album's coming out the same time as Revocation and Whitechapel, that's who we'll probably be up against. And, you know, I don't know. It really just comes down to who's going to bat for us, you know. We really want to be on it, but we don't really count, you know. Our hope is not even going to hope because we're sick of being disappointed. Chad Kroger. Yeah. Is it within the realm of possibility to have an Allegiant Black Dahlia Murder tour? Probably not. I don't think Black Dahlia Murder likes us too much. I think we're not death metal enough for them, to be honest. We've met them. We've hung out with them plenty. I don't think they're fans at all. And, you know, you got to be kind of friends. Trevor has to really like you if you're going to get on the tour. That's how usually these tours go. They ask their buddies and bands they like, and we're definitely, I don't think, on that list, so probably not. Can we please get an Allegiant Bloodshot Dawn tour, 2 of the best melodic death metal bands out there? I would love to do that. I'm pretty good friends with Josh, and actually I tried to get Josh to do a solo on the new record, and his life's getting complicated, and he just couldn't get it to me in time. So I don't know really what's going on with him. I don't really know what's going on with bloodshot. I'd love to do that. I give it a record, and yeah, he's a Bloodshot Dawn fan. I don't. He's no longer Bloodshot Dawn, unfortunately. But you know, not unfortunately for him, he's off doing cool stuff. And I think I talked to Purr a little bit, and I was like, dude, you need to get him in Scar Cemetery permanently. So hopefully, we'll see. They're starting to say Benjamin Ellis Scar Cemetery on some like press stuff. So I don't know what's going on, but we can. But I can hope, because that, I mean, he deserves it. He's amazing. So. What? BDM are a bunch of goofballs too. Weird. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's also a lot of politics, you know. But yeah, who knows? This might be. I think this is about Summer Slaughter. Can we help you guys get in? No. No, I mean, they a lot of things about Summer Slaughter. Whenever they're like, tell Summer Slaughter you want this band, that I don't think that does anything. It's just kind of, it's cool because the more people see your name, the more, you know, it's press, because everybody posts in those things. But no, I don't think the higher ups give a shit about any of that. I think, you know, I in the past I've actually heard that they they'll release little hints of bands that are not even on the tour, but they're doing that so fans will get really excited and kind of like force the band to be on the tour. That might not be true, but I've heard some of that stuff. So. In Mexico, there's a tour called Viva. I'm sorry, my Spanish pronunciation is horrible. Vive Latino. You can play there. That would be a great way to get known in Latin America. Yeah, yeah, it would. I mean, we would. I mean, we talked about playing Mexico too, and yeah, I mean, we really want to go everywhere. It's a matter of, you know, opportunity and money. We're very poor. It was really funny how in the previous hangout, Brandon just came in the room and didn't say a word. Yeah, he never says a word. He's a robot. He's awesome. He's a good guy, but yeah, he doesn't say a lot. Let's see. Have you heard Cupper? I can't even. I can't pronounce it. No, but no, I haven't. It says cephalic. I know that because I know cephalic carnage, but no, I've not heard of them. Greg, don't comb your hair. Shampoo, use moisturizing conditioner gently. Try on that. Detang lit, try upside down. Thanks, buddy. Well, there we go. That is all the questions I have. Oh, no, look, and two more pop up. Greg, you're going to go see Maiden in the store? I didn't even know they were touring. I don't know. I should probably see them before they call it quits, huh? It just really depends on money. I don't get to see a lot of bands. Like Flush God was here last night, and just because I'm out of work basically for a month and a half while we're in the studio, can't really, couldn't really see him. And there's a threshold of money that I'm willing to spend on any band. Like I won't pay $60 to go see a band. I think it's ridiculous. I wanted to go see Rush, and it was like $90 a ticket, and no band is worth that to me because that's ridiculous. You know, I get angry when our ticket prices are expensive. You know what I mean? Like it's supposed to be because you're paying to get to the show, you know, gas or parking, what have you. You're paying to get into the show. You're paying for merch and everything like that, and you know, it has to be reasonable. And yeah, so out of respect, I don't like paying. I don't like charging you guys that much to come see us, and I definitely won't go see a band for a lot of money, even if I really want to see them. Uh, but yeah, like I think Black Sabbath tickets were like $100. You know, stupid. Yeah. I'll get the DVD for 20. You know what I mean? And I'll have it forever. So, but I would love to see Maiden. Uh, what games? What kind of video games are you into? I'm super excited to hear your work on the new one you've been working. Oh, thanks, Rand. Uh, I love first-person shooters. You know, the Batman series was awesome. We actually got a PS4 just so I can get the new Batman. I'm not I'm never very current on my video games because of money, but yeah, it's great. It's a great like distraction when I'm like can't write anything or I'm like just done practicing. You know what I mean? When Disturbed first came out, they were in such high demand on this one festival that the high-ups were kind of forced to put them on. Now, that's cool, man. I was super impressed. Disturbed has impressed me, as weird as that sounds, because uh, the Draymond, I really am impressed by his thoughts on auto tuning. And I saw what was it? He did the vocals. He produced the vocals on Vengeance Swallows, that Trivium record, and I saw like the recording of it. Super impressed by his work ethic and stuff like that. I would when they just did a cover of The Sound of Silence, that Simon and Garfunkel tune, and you know I'm not a big Disturbed fan or whatever, but I thought they did a really good job. I was very impressed. So good for them. You guys played in Danville on your run with Active Defiance, pretty close to Brandon's hometown. I'm not far from there, so I was wondering if you guys ever considered Springfield. Oh, we'd love to. I know Brandon has talked about that plenty. Uh, it's just kind of where you go. Uh, you kind of go where you get booked. You know what I mean? We don't really have say. If we like, we definitely want to go someplace. I can mention it to our agent, but that's no guarantee. Um, the Active Defiance tour, as funny as it was pretty much a disaster. I mean, like I said, like 3 people came out. It was really strange. Like Active Defiance was so new that not a lot of people knew who they were, um, which was unfortunate because they have like 2 Megadeth dudes in it. So, and then it was a co-headlining tour, so it was up to the promoter every night to see who was headlining, who was playing last. And when you have 2 guys from Megadeth, 1 guy from Shadows Fall, and 1 guy from Scar the Martyr, they put those guys in headlining, because like logically that makes sense. But then we would outdraw Active Defiance, and then people would leave, and it would be horrible because no one knew Active Defiance. Like Rochester, when we played Rochester, 70 people showed up for a signing with Sean Drover that day, and then 3 people showed up to the show. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if it was just a promotion error or that tour just kind of fell apart. And it wasn't that we didn't have fun or we didn't, enjoy touring with Active Defiance, because I would tour again with them in a heartbeat. But yeah, and it's pretty funny, dude. The first time we ever played Danville, it was a big metal festival, and it went so late, everybody left before we went on, and the place was packed. And every time we've been back, yeah, we've been playing to like 10 people. It's been, I mean, the venue's so cool, but the turnouts for us in Danville have been appalling. Do you know if Metal Blade will be putting out the new Allegiant album on vinyl? How come we never press pre-sales on vinyl? Uh, we're not worth it financially. Sorry, this is so like deprecating. uh, we're Vinyl's so hard to do because the lead time is like 8 months. So for us to get vinyl for the new record, because they approached us about it, but the album artwork had to be turned in like 2 weeks ago to get it pressed in time for the album to be in on vinyl. And you know, just the artwork, I haven't even seen the artwork yet. It's been done. So I mean, like, it wasn't that we didn't try to do it, but it doesn't look good. for vinyl. We'll see what happens because we're trying to um, all the bonus tracks we're doing for Japan and Europe. We want to release them here in the U.S. later, in like maybe a special edition. So hopefully, when it comes back around, all that will be already done. So hopefully, we can get a special edition vinyl with everything. But the problem there is, it's like almost 90 minutes of music with everything. So I don't know if it has to be a double vinyl. I mean, I don't know the logistics, but we'd love to do vinyl, but it's just financially not viable for Metal Blade to do it for us. The husky hat. Oh man, Miles got it at his gas station that he worked at. Gas stations have them. I don't know. You'll be seeing a lot more of that husky hat this year for sure. Thanks for answering my questions, man. Loving the attention you're giving to us fans. Yeah, no problem. Without you guys, I wouldn't be anything. Would you guys ever be willing to do a live session guitar lesson? Yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's kind of what I do for a living. I'd be like happy to do that, man. Um, what was your first impression when you picked up an 8 string? How was the jump from some 8 strings? 15 minutes. Really, it's 6 string was 16 to 7 string. Like really, when you just add a string, it doesn't take long at all. Yeah, it's like 15 minutes to get acclimated, and then it's like, yeah, it's hard. For me, it's harder to go backwards. Like it's really hard for me to play 6 string electric. Extremely hard. I can play like acoustic and classical all day long, but ask me to play 6 string electric, and I kind of don't really know what to do with myself anymore because I've been playing 7 and 8 strings for so long. Oh yeah, man. You have a good night too. Do you like any physical art? What's your favorite piece of album artwork, metal or otherwise? Yeah, dude, I love art. I don't really have. I have one painting from an artist from Colombia that is really amazing. In fact, I need to get back to her actually, but uh, um, uh, like favorite album cover, I really don't know. I would need to think about it for sure. I definitely have one, but I'd really have to think about it. So yeah. I was wondering if you have any thoughts on age restrictions for metal shows. I hate them. I absolutely, I think they're stupid. A lot of shows near me are 17 plus. Being younger than 17, it kind of sucks. Yeah, it sure does, and it's horrible. And in fact, uh, we high decibel. Yeah. In fact, we don't like doing 21 plus shows, but it's just one of those things. You know, we don't have really any control over it. We have uh, on occasion gone to our agent and said, you got to make these all ages shows. We just can't be having over 21 because our fan base is so spread out, and it's not a lot of people. So when it's just 21 plus, it really limits our audience, and so it's worse for us that way. Uh, do you got into Metal Blade Records or they looked for you? We submitted our album to Metal Blade, and we got turned down, I think, 3 times. They rejected us. We only submitted once, but I think they sent us three rejection letters. Uh, but they did. They were interested. I think a lot of companies say they're not interested, and if they are interested, they keep an eye on you and see what you're doing. Because if you're not doing anything, then they're not going to waste your time. They see you're active and trying to promote yourself, then they'll take more of an interest. And then they saw us doing a whole bunch of music videos under our own dime, like we did Cower Before Me and Nexoterra from our EP. And then when they saw that, then they took an interest. So You should totally play with Arceus and Ex Mortis again. I know it's out of your control, but tour was gnarly. Was gnarly. I was a huge Arceus fan. I'm still a huge Arceus fan. But I felt we got killed on that tour. Being sandwiched between Ex Mortis, who are amazing, and Arceus, who were also amazing. We had our asses handed to us most nights for sure. Yeah, I was very depressed after that tour for multiple reasons, but uh, yeah, yeah, I still those guys are great. Every time Ex Mortis comes through town, it's always a blast. And the Arceus dudes has been. We played with them again. Riley's first tour. He even spoke earlier. He's done 2 tours with us. The first tour we did, we played with Arceus at the Louisville Death Fest in Kentucky, and it was great. It was great for me because I felt like we on the tour we didn't do well, and then on that show we did really well, and that was good for me, for my self-esteem, to be honest, because it's hard to be like feel like you're making a fool of yourself in front of your heroes, you know what I mean? So, but it was a gnarly tour. I would do it again in a heartbeat for sure, even though I was like felt not good about it. Equipment time. Can you give us a rig rundown with your equipment? What's your favorite? Yeah, I can try. Let's see if I can. We'll see if the computer can see it. So right there is my rig. So what that is, it's a Pod HD, then a Line 6 G90 relay, and then a cord tuner, wireless, or I'm sorry, the G90 relay was the wireless unit, and then I have a Mackie HD monitor for the front row, and we run direct. I would love to get an Axe-Fx because my run-ins with Line 6 haven't been that great. I was not impressed with how they talked to me at NAMM, to be honest. So even though Axe-Fx's are way more expensive, I would do that in a heartbeat right now. Because the hell with Line 6. How many tattoos do you have? Oh, I don't know. I mean, I have a Devin Townsend tattoo, Accelerated Evolution, right there. That was my first tattoo, which kind of morphed into this skull, which almost looks like Eddie from Iron Maiden. Then I got this kind of like biomechanical thing from Biomech, which kind of, this is my ex-wife who's being choked to death because she was a horrible person and put me in loads and loads of debt for many, many years, which I am now out of. And then there's this atrophy of Hippocrates tattoo. So like the Hippocratic oath type thing. They're biting the staff and a DNA chain. And then this one sucked. That was my first like a Legion tattoo over a skull. And my tattoo guy won't do my elbow because I have so many nerve endings that I can't keep it still. It hits a nerve and I can't control it. My arm just jerks. And then 2 pieces here, overkill, and like skulls. And this whole side is skulls. And then I have a tattoo on my leg, a Legion tattoo on my leg that I didn't really need another Legion tattoo, but we were all getting them. So I don't even know. Like 1 full arm, 1 forearm, and a leg. So 3, even though it was many, many sessions. Can I send 3 rejection letters to you for fun? Yes, I don't know, reject me for anything, for being too tall, for being too short, being too fat, out of shape, being too old, getting older, getting up there. Booger Out, this will be my last thing on here. Be ready for the musical questions. Seriously, don't be shocked when you have 20 messages in your Facebook. All right, no problem. Happy to do it. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. Yeah, you too, friend. He's probably long gone. Uh, I appreciate you too. That's what I'm guessing that's going to say. What's the scene like there in Denver? Any new bands popping up or checking out? Yeah. I mean, we have quite a. I mean, I just played Cephalic Carnage, which was great. That was actually I was think about that today. How like meaningful that was to my own like personal life to play with them. I mean, they're not new. I mean, they're historic, right? Um, and of course, we have Havoc, who's playing with Megadeth. Um, so I mean, that's awesome. Like both of those bands are really good friends. Like super excited for all of them. And I mean, those are kind of well-known acts. We do have there's the scene here is good, like really good. I think last night, uh, man, they opened the show. I think they're called Hellberus. My buddy Brent is playing drums for them, um, and the singer and guitar player are my buddies from a long time ago from a band from Colorado Springs, Bohemian Grave, but they're in a band called Hellberus now, and I think they were also in a band called Execration, like hardcore death metal band, and yeah, so I think they're. I mean, I've heard they're pretty good. Um, there's a my buddy's Tethys, pretty good. Stevie Bozier is their new vocalist. He was in Valenoth. He was also in some Dissonance in Design. I don't know if you guys ever heard of them. They were really good. I don't think they're a thing anymore, or they moved out east. But yeah, there's lots of good bands. I I don't go to a lot of local shows anymore just because I'm getting older. But I should totally rectify that because I like local bands. Morbid Asphyxiation from up north is great. Um, Oak Ash and Thorn, really good. They're folk metal. Let's see. Uh, Mike's other band, uh, Cravat, I think they're called. I mean, Mike's amazing, so I know that band's amazing. I've seen them a couple times; they're really good. Um, yeah, there's a couple bands out of Fort Collins that are really good. There's always good bands around here. There's our buddies. Oh man, oh they're right on the tip of my tongue. I think they just got signed too. Uh, there's a band of Vumana. They just got signed to Seasons of Mist. Uh, Zach, who was in Cephalic Carnage. Mikey Reeves, who was in Valenoth. Um, uh, oh man, sorry, I'm gonna think of it. I'm gonna think of it in a minute, and then I'm gonna just kick myself for Dreadnought. That's who I'm thinking of. They just got signed. They're really good. They're different for sure. Your straight run outro for Biomech File 666 was perfect. Was that done on the first take when recording? How did you get the violin and cello? Was that Joe again? No. That was actually the keyboard player in Dreadnought, who I just said. She actually jammed with me on Vol 666 for a while. And the MIDI got all messed up when she was tracking. So I went through and just MIDI'd out the cello parts that she wrote. Uh, so no, that wasn't Joe. That was long before I knew Joe. Um, but it was on the first take. No, I think I did 4 takes of that. And actually, the take that's on YouTube, like you'll see the me playing Ball 66. You'll see me actually record the take that made the record on YouTube because it has that one screw up in it because I did play it in one take. None of the other valses I did that, and that was only because Dave didn't know my background as a classical guitar player. So he got when you aren't familiar with an acoustic instrument, you kind of have to do stuff in one take. Now that he knows that you know, I can play the thing. I don't have to do it in one take anymore. So that's a huge weight off my mind. Some of the things that I'm doing now are really long. And yeah, and I can't, usually I read my music off my computer, which I can't do anymore because it's so loud. It interferes with the mics. You can still hear me breathing, but you don't want to hear the fan. Who is the coolest person you've ever seen in a show? Not a celebrity or anything, but just a normal person. One time I saw a 75-year-old guy moshing a Cali cap, but he made me so happy. Oh man, you're cool. Definitely seen you at a show. I think the Pink Power Ranger was in the pit for us at New England Metal Fest. That was hilarious. I don't know anything about the Power Rangers, but that was fun. It was cool to see that. What's up, dude?
Yeah, Tom.
I know, I'm just talking.
You doing?
No, I'm keep doing it. What else do I have to do? Are you into black metal at all? Yeah, I like some black metal, sure. Some Gorgoroth I really like. I saw Dark Funeral and I was very impressed with them. I really liked that. I saw Inquisition, they were all right. I'll be interested to see Abbott because my buddy Gabe is drumming for them. He's a killer drummer. But what Abbath's other band? Frostbitten Kingdoms. Yeah, whoever did that. Immortal. I saw them. They were really good. I'm trying to think. Huh? Yeah, Riley's gone. He had something to do at 8. And apparently he feels really bad because he just texted me that. He feels really bad. He abandoned everyone. Yeah. Man. I mean, I don't know if you're going to count Dimmu or Old Man's Child, but I love those bands. Right now, 18. It's me and 18 people hanging. Yeah. Cool, man. See you guys next week. We'll have a lot more to talk about next week because we'll actually be tracking guitars. Have you looked in Bias from Positive Grid? No. I don't know what that is. I've heard the term, but I have no clue what it is. Not long gone. You're still here. Good. That's good. Good night, friend. How we studied something related to science, or how Allegiant songs were inspired. I mean, we do research when we write the lyrics, but not really. I mean, it's just a lot of research when we write the lyrics. We find stuff that interests us, and then. What's my biggest guilty pleasure band? Gaga. I'm not guilty of listening to Gaga. She's amazing. I was listening to Katy Perry last night. That's kind of guilty pleasure. Actually, you know what I was listening to last night that I kind of feel guilty about, but not really? I was listening to the Black Album by Metallica. I actually listened to all the shit that I've talked. I like that record. I can't listen to any other Metallica record, but the Black Album, it's just so well produced. It's just like, I just feel the songs are so good that I can get, I don't know, that's a hard, guilty. I don't know. Generally, I don't feel guilty about listening to bands. Huh?
Unless it's when you listen to Bieber.
I don't listen to Justin Bieber. Right. No. Even if I liked his music, which I don't, I actually have no clue what his music sounds like. He's such an asshole. I won't fucking listen to it. I won't support him. Just like Kanye West, piece of shit, motherfucker. I'm getting all riled up because Kanye West got puffed in my head. Tell Dave Otero his pretty eyes. I will. Tomorrow morning. Got it. Oh my god, I wonder if people heard that. My roommate. What the fuck? It's been nice hanging out with, man. After 2 years. Yep. See you again, man. Get some sleep. Our friend from Greece, man. What is it, 6:30 in the morning? You're a trooper. Jeanette, are you what the fucking me because of Metallica? I'll give that one to you. Good night, friend. Can you make a song related to Metatron's cube, even if it's better than Phi? Metatron cube. I don't know exactly what that is, buddy. I'm not sure what Metatron's cube is. Hell yeah, on my third cup of coffee. I work nights and have the day off, so I'm in it for the long haul. Would you ever jam with Dave Devinson, Ray Vacation? I know you guys are fairly dissimilar, but it could be interesting. You know, it's funny because someone started something on Twitter that they said uh, they said Dave Davidson and I should have a fastest playing contest, and I replied to the tweet saying Dave Davidson would bury me, and then Dave replied we should have a contest who can play the slowest, and I've been keeping him up on that. Like, dude, when we're gonna have this contest? We're actually playing with Revocation. I met David in person at NAMM 2 years ago at the like a Jackson photo thing, and I went up to him and I was like starting to joke with him. Either he's very shy or I came on way too strong, but he would not really talk to me. We'll see him in April, so that'll be interesting. It was really funny. I was talking to Dave, and then Michael Keane showed up, and it was like I think they knew each other, so I was just kind of like no one knew who the fuck I was. So it was really funny because there was a lot of funny things that happened at that photo shoot. So it was like the meeting too, and I was just kind of like, "Hey, Mike, how you doing?" And he's like, "Yeah, whoever the hell you are." And I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna go stand over here." And it was funny because they put me right next to Chris Broderick, and he had no clue who I was either at that time. And he's like, "Hey, I'm Chris." I'm like, "Yeah, like I don't know who you are." "Hey, I'm Greg." And then Guthrie Govan walked in, and Guthrie Govan and Chris Broderick kind of locked eyes, and it was like the meeting of two gods. And then they got to talking, and I was just standing there, and I was in position to take the photo, and then Guthrie, to take the photo, he just turned and stood right in front of me, so I looked like the giant, biggest creeper ever. So yeah, but that was a tangent. Um, yeah. um, you know what? That would offend some people, sir, but not me. My roommate thinks I'm an idiot. He's not wrong. Does this new album have any heavies? I'm not sure quite what that means, but I must say yes. What's your opinion on separating music from the artist, like Varg's craziness tarnishing his work? I'm actually not a big fan of his work, or the guy, quite frankly. But uh, I mean, it's kind of like the Phil Anselmo thing, which is a hot button topic at the moment. But can you separate his actions and his comments from his music? And absolutely, I can. It's like me listening to Christian like metal, right? I don't particularly care about the message. I just like the music. Um, the same thing with like hardcore Satan music. I'm not with Satan, whatever. That's I think lame, you know. But I like the music, so you know it is whatever it is. Um, yeah, I mean Varg seems like a complete douche, but if you like his band, man, that's cool. Yay, Burzum. You know, not my thing, but yeah, I think it's very. Uh, I mean, I think that the internet has done horrible things because if the internet wasn't around, you wouldn't be exposed to people's personal bullshit. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, Phil Anselmo, his actions were inexcusable, whatever. But does that make his music any less attractive to people? I don't think so. You know what I mean? Some people, yes. Where I don't really think that. I mean, personally, I don't think Phil Anselmo's a racist. I think he's an idiot, and he shouldn't have said what he did. But I don't think he's a racist because I've seen him, like some of his best friends are black and whatever, and Jewish and all that. I think he's an idiot. You know, but still, I mean that's not an excuse for his behavior. It was kind of like the Beyonce thing with the Black Panthers. Do I think that she's a racist? No, I think she's an idiot. A lot of this, I think, is more cultural problems than racial problems. But do I know Jared Dines? No, I don't know Jared Dines. Saw Jared at NAMM, but it's just, who am I? Everybody knows who Jared Dines is. No one knows who I am or gives a shit, except all you nice people. One of the guys I talked to in Japan who actually loves Legion now said that entering guitar contests is a quick way to gain fans. You'd slaughtered competitions for sure. What's the goofiest song you've learned to play for shits and giggles? It's weird because when I worked at Target when I first moved because I couldn't get a job, and just the radio would always play this Rihanna song. And for some reason, I just picked up guitar one day and I started playing it and not realizing what it was. And so that was the weirdest thing ever. But I mean, we've done arrangements of Lady Gaga. We did an arrangement of Katy Perry. That never saw the light of day, by the way. We did I Kiss the Girls. I did that a long time ago. That never saw the light of day. But yeah, I don't. I have no confidence as a guitar player, and I think a lot of that has to do with Allegion's lack of success. So when I see guitar contests, I kind of shy away from it because I just don't have confidence in my abilities to do that. If I'm like 100% honest, I don't think I'm that great of a guitar player. I just do what I do. Wow, that got like dark. Same as on C, I work nights and I can't get enough of this. And how do you feel about Archspire? I have mixed feelings about Archspire. Toby is an amazing dude, and I love him, and I love the music. The vocalist, he's not been the nicest dude to me in the past, and I'm not very shy about my distaste for rap music, and he seems to kind of bring that into his metal thing. To each their own. I mean, he's another one who made very distasteful jokes after the France shootings. I was kind of really disgusted at his remarks online. But then again, if you've seen their live show, that's kind of his shtick. So I don't know if I was that shocked. But I mean, I don't find his jokes that tasteful either on stage. But yeah, I mean, they're great. I will, you can't argue that they have an amazing amount of talent, and they have been. Spencer, the drummer's been amazing. Toby, the guitar player's been one of the coolest dudes I've ever met. So yeah, I mean, I want nothing but the best for those dudes for sure. Well, that's bogus. You are from that. Well, thanks. It's a lot about like confidence as a player too. That's like such an important thing. It takes a long time to build confidence of like, it can be shattered in like seconds. Right? When we came back from that Arsis tour, I was shattered for sure. There was a lot of things going on in that tour that I won't really get into. There was a lot of internal problems inside of Legion that manifested on stage quite often through that whole tour. And I came home and completely dejected, and I was gonna quit. I was for sure. I was like done with the Legion. I was done with everything, but I have no other skills, so I stuck it out. And but it takes a long time to build the confidence and only a very short time to destroy it. That's why I think the Get Wrecked tour will always be one of my favorites, because that was the first tour we did after the Arceus tour, and that was all like that whole tour was me. Like, you know, I'm not gonna worry about anybody else. I'm just gonna worry about me and like build up my confidence again. And that's why that tour had such a like place, like personally for me, because I had to build up, you know, my personal worth, I guess. Who is your favorite underground band right now? And however you define underground. Byzantine. I like to support a lot of underground bands because I think there's so many shit bands out there that get recognition and not. I mean, some of the underground bands don't get enough credit. Bloodshot Dawn, for sure. Son of Aurelius. There's a reason that Riley got the gig with us. Son of Aurelius is amazing. I love everybody in that band. They're great guys and phenomenal musicians. Byzantine, which I hope I don't think they're going to be underground for much longer. I think they got some cool stuff happening in their camp, but I mean, we'll see about that. And then those are like Bloodshot Dawn and Son of Aurelius and Byzantine. Those are the three that I've been championing for quite a while now for underground bands. But I mean, there's plenty of underground bands out there. I mean, I guess you could say Abiotic is an underground band. They work really hard. They just got a cool European offer. They're going out with Suffocation, which is really great for them because I don't know what happened with their last record. Kind of just petered out. And they're great dudes. They deserve better than they get too, I think. What does Allegiance mean? It means we won't get sued. We were Allegiance, and we got a lot of cease and desist letters. So that's really why we had to change it. Sorry, my phone's blowing up while we're doing this. Yeah, we got tons of cease and desist letters, so we wanted something similar, but something kind of stupid, so we never have to change our name again. So it means we won't get sued, like literally, because anybody that claims that they came up with this band name would be ridiculous because it's the dumbest name ever. And it's probably hurt us a lot. Something like to mention on an actual serious note when you are amazing teacher. Hey, thanks, friend. When Greg puts out a message, he's accepting students. I'm accepting students all the time. Thanks, friend. I think that you and 331 Iraq from YouTube could piece together something that would melt faces, both classically trained and amazing technical. Honestly, I'd love to do a collaboration with you someday. It's ahead of my playing. Hey, man. There's no reason we can, you know. Don't you dare quit. I'm not going to quit. I have things are going better for Legion than they have for a very long time right now, and we'll see. But yeah, but it's true. I like literally have no other skills. My fallback plan was music. That was my main plan and my fallback plan. So I have really nothing else I can do. So no, I'll be doing this for at least 3 more records after this one, because I'm going to fulfill my contract. I guess 2 more records, but I'm hoping the next record will be a 2-discer. So we'll see. I saw you guys on the weird tour with Chimera. That was a strangely weird tour. You guys were great. Any Minnesota dates? It's the same thing. We're just concentrating on the record. We really don't know what's going on as far as tours right now. We got a new agent that we're extremely excited about because he has a lot of really good bands under his roster. That was so weird because our agency that we were on, Artery, the Artery Metal Tour, which was what that was, is because those were pretty much the main bands on Artery, you know, and there was between us and Chimera, we were as thick as thieves on that tour. You know, they headlined and we were like almost opening the show. And why would we be so close when they had all those other bands? Because we're the only two, we had things in common, you know what I mean? Like old school kind of feel. And the rest was kind of breakdowny bands and like scene bands. And you know, whether you dislike that or not, those three bands together made sense, and us and Chimera together made sense. Where that whole package made sense, it made no sense. And that was the only support slot that our agent was able to get us the whole time that we were on with Artery, was that tour, which was weird. You know what I mean? Like everything else, we were either headlining or I Got Us. The Wretched tour that we had, that went through me. The Arsis tour went through me. The Acta Defiance tour, that was a co-headliner. So, you know what I mean? So, yeah. I have good Google Hangouts. Hey, thanks. I know. Sometimes I go back and watch these, and after the last one, I was like, "Holy shit! I never shut the hell up." So I can talk. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. What's the worst thing that ever happened to me in concert? Uh, we had someone who was like really drunk, playing in the band at the time, and they kept falling off stage, and it was incredibly it's very frustrating because you work really hard at your craft, and when you have someone that basically, in all intents and purposes, like disrespecting all the work you put in because they can't keep their shit together, and you are trying to put on the best show you can, and they are unable to because they're inebriated, and they fuck up the show and they fuck up your performance because of what they're doing. Uh, like I'd be in the middle of a solo and suddenly I'm clean because they like stumbled over my pedals. Um, yeah, that was pretty bad. I mean, I can go on. I mean, we've had lots of problems in this band, but yeah, that'll be one that I can say that won't draw attention to who it was. So that might be the most PC way of saying it. What's your favorite topic to ramble on? Oh, Danielle, I have no life. I play guitar all the time. Music. I can ramble on about music forever. Yeah. Aha, I'm getting close to like getting rid of all these questions. Yep. Yeah. John C. You see, some of these are just corrections. And there you go. No questions. I've gotten them all out of the way. I think I'm about an hour over, and we're still going strong. Here we go. Do you do anything other than music, like other hobbies? Uh, Not really. I music is very full time. Um, I will play video games like when I need a break from music, but when I'm not writing, I'm practicing, and when I'm not practicing, I'm writing. And it's definitely one of those things where the better you get at it, the worse you feel you are at it because your ears have developed. So uh, the more you achieve, the more the end goal seems to move away from you. So it takes up a lot more time than you would think. And then I still don't think that I practice enough for sure. Like I definitely know my limit, like my weaknesses. And you try to there's a couple things you do when you have weaknesses. One is you write your weaknesses into a song so you're forced to improve on those things, which I've done on many occasions. And the other one is you try to avoid your weaknesses so you don't have to take them into. I mean, one of the biggest things that I think Mike and I are is vibrato. After touring with Arsis, I mean, Arsis has the greatest vibrato on the planet, and their vibrato is diatonically correct, and it's also rhythmically correct. So wherever they are in the scale, their vibrato is up to the next pitch in that scale, and it's also subdivided by that beat. So for me right now is getting it diatonically is not a problem. Getting it on beat is very much a problem because it's a lot of muscle building. So it's a very like tedious process of building up the muscles so that you can move the pitch. You have control over that pitch to get it perfect. Wes Hawk House is another great. He has another great vibrato player. Have I ever had traumatic experience with a fan? Yeah, yeah, yeah. We've had lots of traumatic experiences with fans, which is fine. I'd rather do that than. As a fan, I've had traumatic experiences. I've been hit in the face with so many bases. Uh, you'd be surprised. Steve DiGiorno from Testament hit me in the face with his bass. Uh, I think it was on the Gathering tour. That was awesome. And then I went to see. I was actually just talking to Joey Vera about this in Hollywood, like a few months ago. I met Joey Vera again, and it's been like 13 years since he hit me in the face with his bass at an Armored Saint show. Yeah, but yeah, I mean we've had some traumatic experiences with bands. Nothing like that traumatic. We played our first time ever playing in Rhode Island. We had a very old woman who kept feeling me up every time I played a solo. That sucked. I think she was on something. Which your favorite non-guitar, non-metal instrument? Piano, for sure. Um, I love the piano. I had to take piano proficiency in college, so I'm actually trying to play some piano on the next record. We'll see. I don't know if I'm going to be able to put in the time to get it the way I am, the way I envision it. But I'm, you know, I'm trying to learn. I can play piano, but it's really just the time it takes me to put in. I'd love to do that. I think the best way to improve is definitely writing songs with your weaknesses, but also having someone else to be friendly competition with helps uh, a ton as well. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I, I've never felt like there has been any competition in the Legion as far as guitar playing goes because I always felt it was more of a complementary teamwork type of thing. I mean, me and Mike definitely go at it, especially on stage, is like, just fucking around with each other. But no, I mean, it's never more competition is, man, he was really good. I got to keep up, you know, and that's always the best thing. If you can play with guys that make you better and make you want to improve, I think is great. And definitely, I've been very fortunate um, with Ryan, who was an amazing guitar player, um, and Mike, who's been a savior to me uh, for sure. To play with those guys has been a complete honor. But don't tell Mike I said that because I hate him. Now that you aren't busy enough recording at work, how do you find time to write material? Or do you find it better to write by yourself or with another guitarist that use a loop station? We will never write together. That is not. I mean, I think writing as a band is a complete waste of time. I hate it. Um, that's not completely accurate. Mike and I did write together when we were bored, but generally, we do not write together. I do not like writing with other people because I feel it's wasting time. To sit in a room and jam with people to come up with ideas, I feel is a wasting everybody's time. It wastes their time, it wastes my time. I'd rather come in with a lot of ideas, and then if people have input, then we can go through and rearrange the song, or if they don't like a part, I can change it, or if they have an idea, they can add it to it. But writing as a group, I don't like. I don't think it does a service to everybody in the band. I mean, a lot of people, it varies from band to band, but I don't like working like that because I'm not an on the spot kind of guy. I like to take my time and really methodically plan out what I'm going to play, and that doesn't happen if I'm with other people. I need to focus by myself to do it. Do you like any bands that doesn't sing in English? Yeah, yeah, loads of bands that don't sing in English. It's kind of weird how English has really become kind of like a mainstay for a lot of metal, but it's not always been that way. Um, uh, I can't. I mean, there's lots of bands that have done stuff in other languages that I really enjoy. I can't actually think of anything off the top of my head, but yeah. Who's my favorite pianist? Murray Pariah. He uh, he has an album that he did uh, Bach keyboard concertos, and he played with St. Martin's of the Fields Orchestra, and is one of my favorite classical albums of all time. It is amazing. Yeah, Murray Pariah is definitely my favorite pianist for sure. Rubinstein's also really good too. Appreciate him. How do you guys come up with stuff? I can play a lot of stuff like obscura necrophagist, but I cannot come up with anything really original to save my life. I answer this a lot, actually, and so one of the things that we do is I feel that the more influences you have is the more stuff that you can draw from to write your own music. So all my classical background with the prog music that I like, and then it's really been a journey. Uh, we talked a lot on this hangout about like being frustrated with where we're at. Sometimes when I see lots of bands that like we get rejected from its works, we're not death metal enough. A lot of times that eggs me on to write in a more death metal fashion. Um, so the next record that we do, there's going to be very brutal parts to it, because I wrote. There was definitely a reaction to some of the lack of success we've had, and that has been to try to maybe steer us in a direction that's not really natural. So the death metal thing. Um, there's actually a song on the new record called "All Hail Science." Uh, that's not the title track or anything, but the first video that you guys will hear for the record is for a song called "All Hail Science," um, and that is pretty death metal, like straight up death metal, like bloodbath, miseration, like not very melodic at all, like almost none. I would say the solos are melodic, but apart from that, it's like straight death metal, and that's very much a reaction to the you know how Allegion's been perceived, and you writing that stuff is just like you kind of get into that mode of, for me it becomes a choice a lot of times, like what do you want to write in, and I want to write something really brutal. Well, then I'll go through my theory and say, okay, I'm going to use this mode, and then I'll just start jamming in that mode and see what comes out, or I will go to paper and actually write specifically on paper, just riff ideas that I would not naturally come up with on guitar. So it's a lot of drawing from different influences to create your own sound for sure. But I hope that helped. I'm a talker. I don't know if that helped. Also, how can I send you some of my material? I'd love to critique from you. You can just send me through Facebook, and if you need to email it, I'll give you my email address. It's That's fine. I have a hard time finding time. I actually have, I think 3 dudes have hit me up here to listen to the music, and if they're polite enough about it, I have no problem doing it. It's just when it's like, hey, listen to my band, that I get pissy because I'm a human being and I don't need to be treated like that. I'm getting tired because I'm getting more cranky. Have you heard folk metal bands? Yeah, I love folk metal. There's a Spanish band called Lago de Oz. Okay, I'm gonna look this up. I don't even know if I said that. De Oz. That makes incredible songs mixing metal with all types of music. Yeah, awesome, dude. I look forward to that. Yeah. Uh, that I'm a huge folk metal guy. I love like Elevite and Turias and that big pagan fest thing that rolls through every year. Awesome. I love those bands for sure. Uh, Amon Amarth and stuff like that, which is a little bit more Viking. I guess that's not really folk metal, but yeah, like violins and shit. I love that. I love that. Anything mixing. I think it's kind of weird because we have American folk bands kind of really, even if they're very good, like Oh Gosh and Thorn, very good. They kind of weird me out a little bit because in the folk music they're not using American folk music. You know, they're taking folk music from different countries and playing it, which is not a bad thing at all. But it weirds me out because when you have folk metal bands, usually they're drawing from their own heritage to create their music. It's something very honest about that. So when American folk metal bands do it, it kind of weirds me out a little bit because I'm like, American folk music's dumb. I don't like it. So it'll be really hard. Where's my cat gone? My cat is asleep, probably. I will guarantee you it's asleep. You will submit more infinitely. See, I don't even know what that's relating to anymore. But oh, I'm going to do a few more guys and then I'm going to sign off because we've been doing this for 3 hours now. A Legion of Monomarth collab. Actually, I just found out uh, Johan. Is that his name? Johan, the lead singer from Monomarth. He just heard a Legion for the first time, and apparently he really liked it. So, yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed that we can do something with them at some point. But oh no, I see this question here, and I'm dreading answering it. Ne Obla Viscaris. This bums me out because they were just here. I love the band, and apparently, I was told they're big Legion fans. So we tried to go hang out with them, but it didn't work. Like they couldn't fit us on the list, so like I couldn't afford to see Flesh God. Couldn't afford to go see them. What's this? Oh, okay, awesome. I'm sure it's bad news. It always is. All right, buddy. Yeah, so I'm really bummed out because then Mike and Brandon, they managed to find tickets for free and they got in, and then they were just blowing up my phone, saying how awesome they were. Pissed me off, hardcore. But that's good. Yeah, they're really good. I heard they're amazing live, like one of the best live bands ever. Have you ever tried to transpose classical piano to guitar? Yeah, I have. I've done. Oh man, I did. I forget what it was. I called it Bach on a Warlock. I transposed this like Bach fugue for, and I also did um, Sonata Pathétique, a Beethoven piece for two guitar players, which I was very psyched on my arrangement for it. Who knows? Maybe these might come out someday. But, Rachmaninoff's Piano Concerto No. 2. Oh man, that Rachmaninoff's the nutball. That would be amazing, but a lot of work. Crazy. Be stoked, dude. Be stoked. I've heard nothing but how amazing they are. So, and yeah, Mike and Brandon were just like in awe of how amazing they were. So, yeah, I think you should definitely go see them if you can. All right, guys, I think this is gonna be the last one. Are you familiar with Impuriza? They combine flamenco and thrashy death. Uh, no, man, I haven't. Another one I will write down. Ugh. Impuriza. Sweet. Thanks, guys. I appreciate you giving me all these bands. Thanks, guys, for hanging out. Well, like I said, we'll do one every week. Sorry, I didn't have more studio stuff to talk about. found the drum edits took so long. But yeah, so I start guitars tomorrow. I'm trying to get at least 2 songs done tomorrow. That's my plan. So fingers crossed to me. Depends how much I get red light syndrome. If anybody doesn't know what that is, as soon as you start recording, you start fucking up. And we'll see how it goes. But and no, I can't sing. I can't sing at all. I can't hold a tune in a bucket. I can't do death metal vocals at all. So, and if you heard me, you would laugh. So, all right, guys, thanks so much, and I'll see you guys next week. Later.